Chapter 172. When Wang Lan arrived at the scene, the system notification sounded in his mind. Killing above your level. Reward, 1000 EXP, 20 SP. Brother Chase. A weak voice sounded. The middle-aged man who was injured by the blonde foreigner struggled to stand up and said to Wang Lan urgently, "Chase in this situation? Chase my ass." Wang Lan came in front of him. The man had one hand on his chest. His chest was bleeding and his body was twitching. He was about to die. "I'm the captain of the Heavenly Sword Bureau's intelligence department." "Who are you?" "I know you. You're Wang Lan, the mascot of the intelligence department." "I'm Ma Weidong, action department. Second action team, squadron leader." After confirming that he was on the same side, Wang Lan tore open the man's collar and pressed his palm on the wound. Takashi Hoshi's healing skill was activated. After a while, there was a commotion around. Soon, the Heavenly Sword Bureau members arrived in 2s and 3s. "What's going on? Who's asking for help?" That was a fierce fight. Everything within 100 meters was blown up. "Cough, cough. Old you, can you not be so sarcastic?" Ma Weidong opened his eyes and coughed softly. "Oh, Captain Ma. Sorry. You were beaten so badly that I didn't recognize you. What's going on? Where did you come back? Didn't you go to further your studies?" "CKU, I've been back for a month. I took a mission. A foreign organization offered a high price to assassinate Sioux City's Mu Lianqing. I took the mission to protect him. But I didn't expect the assassin organization to be so strong that they sent 4 Nebula Masters to assassinate him." "They succeeded?" "They succeeded. Captain Ma, something's not right. Why didn't you prepare when you knew that the foreign organization wanted to assassinate Mr. Mu Lianqing? Even if you took the mission, you couldn't have done alone, right?" "How the hell would I know? Are the border checkpoints filled with dead people? Are they blind to let such a dangerous white face in? Well, even if they could sneak into the border, could they make it all the way to Sioux City? When did Jade State's anti-infiltration system become so useless? Furthermore, the bounty offered by foreign organizations was only 20 million. Was 20 million enough to hire 4 Nebula? I'm guessing that at this price, you'll only be able to send 1 or 2 players. Who would have thought?" At this moment, Wang Lan also straightened up. "Done. Thank you, Brother Wang. Captain, there's a survivor here." A member of the Heavenly Sword Bureau suddenly shouted. "Right, I almost forgot. It's Mu Lianqing's son. If it wasn't for this kid, I'm afraid I wouldn't even have the chance to send out the signal. He was only a high school student, but his cultivation level was already Nebula. He is a genius. Captain Wang, can you take a look at him?" Wang Lan didn't hesitate. He arrived in front of the other party in an instant and lowered his head to take a look. A look of surprise appeared on his face. "It's him. Captain Wang knows him. His name is Mu Xiaoyan. He was my classmate in the same year, but not in the same class." Mu Xiaoyan was the genius who had dominated the Takashi Hoshi campus of Sioux City's #1 middle school for a long time. Even Jiang Xinyu only managed to suppress him for a few months during the first half of the semester at the beginning of the 3rd year of high school. After Mu Xiaoyan successfully broke through Nebula, he was suppressed again. Mu Xiaoyan's family background was similar to Jiang Xinyu's. His parents were involved in overseas trade and were known as the king of southern ships in Jade State. Mu Xiaoyan was talented and had a huge amount of resources. It wasn't surprising that he could dominate the Takashi Hoshi campus, Wang Lan. However, he didn't expect that the famous king of southern ships would be assassinated right in front of his eyes. He's fine. He just overused his astral power. That's good. Soon, more members of the Heavenly Sword Bureau arrived. Li Weixin, the head of the operations department, also arrived. Wang Lan was only there to provide temporary support. After seeing that all the members had arrived, he told Li Weixin what he had seen and heard, and then left. Mu Xiaoyan was his classmate, and the assassination of the king of southern ships, Mu Lianqing, would cause an international shock. However, this had nothing to do with Wang Lan. It wasn't his job, so he didn't care too much. Especially when the system didn't prompt him about the mission, he was even more emotionless. The next day, Wang Lan carried his school bag and went to school as usual. Before he could put down his school bag, Su Xiangwen grabbed Wang Lan's arm. "Wang Lan, have you heard? Yes. Wang Lan nodded solemnly. The preliminaries of the provincial martial arts competition are about to begin. Old Lu might send us the registration form today. No, that's not what I'm talking about. Is it possible that the provincial martial arts competition will be broadcasted live on TV? No. Something happened to Mu Xiaoyun's family. I heard that Mu Xiaoyun's parents offended someone and were assassinated. Mu Xiaoyun was also seriously injured. Wang Lan looked at Su Xiangwen strangely. What kind of intelligence did this guy have? He already knew about what happened last night. Believe me, I heard it from a classmate of the 5th class early this morning. Someone from the 5th class lives in the same neighborhood as Mu Xiaoyun. I see. I'll believe you for now, but don't gossip. Let's wait for the truth to be announced. I understand. Whether it's true or not, Mu Xiaoyun is still our classmate. It's not nice to talk about him behind his back. It's even worse to gloat. How am I gloating? The smile on your face has already betrayed you. However, even if Wang Lan and Su Xiangwen stop talking about it, by noon, the news of Mu Xiaoyun's family being destroyed and his star palace being reduced to an ordinary person continued to spread among the students. Gossiping was indeed human nature. Moreover, the rumor had spread to such an outrageous extent. Students, the provincial martial arts tournament will begin in a month. This year's provincial martial arts tournament might be different from the past. But no matter how different it is, it doesn't make any difference to us. Work hard to improve and prepare for the tournament in your best condition. For you, this is a once-in-a-lifetime event. Every city will send a team of 10 people to participate in the provincial martial arts tournament. Our Sioux city only has one Takashi Hoshi High School, so it won't be that troublesome. If you're interested in signing up, fill out the application form and hand it to my office before school ends today. Before class in the afternoon, Lu Jie handed out the application forms. Today's main task was to sign up for the provincial martial arts tournament. Registration was voluntary, but as a teacher, he hoped that all the students in the class could participate, especially the 3 from Maigetsu Castle. Their strength was unfathomable. If they were serious, Jiang Xinyu might not be able to defeat any of them. But the 3 of them seemed to have no interest in the provincial martial arts tournament. After receiving the application forms, they casually stuffed them into the drawer, as if they didn't want to take them out. Wu Cheng, you guys don't plan on participating? Wang Lan curiously asked. We're not participating. Maigetsu Castle smiled bitterly and shook his head. For people like us, if we want to participate in the tournament, wouldn't we be leaving others with no way out? If we win, there's no sense of accomplishment. F*CK. Wang Lan raised the great desolate, imprisoning heavenly finger to show his respect. Speaking of which, your Takashi Hoshi clan won't participate. No, it depends on the person. Maigetsu Castle obviously knew that Wang Lan didn't come over purely to ask whether he would participate or not. For people like us from the Takashi Hoshi clan, there's no need for us to participate in the provincial martial arts tournament. If we win, it won't help us, and if we lose, we'll embarrass our clan. But for those Takashi Hoshi clan who are in decline, or those Takashi Hoshi clan who are in the rising stage, it's a stage to announce their comeback. So every year, the ones who really shine in the provincial martial arts tournament are mostly the Takashi Hoshi clan's disciples. I don't want to pour cold water on you, but whether it's you, Wang Lan, or Jiang Xinyu, it's already very impressive to be able to enter the top 10 of the provincial martial arts tournament. Your talents are indeed peerless, and your resources are not bad. But even if you rely on your talents and resources, it's very difficult to compete with those Takashi Hoshi clan who have some background. Just this one point, you don't have a bloodline talent. You seem to have one, but your bloodline talent is the medical type. There are at least 500 Takashi Hoshi clans in the Jiang province, if not 1,000. Takashi Hoshi clans are not just Takashi Hoshi clans that have been passed down for 5 generations. A truly recognized Takashi Hoshi clan is not only the Takashi Hoshi clans that have been passed down from generation to generation, but also the clan's bloodline talent and ancestral secret techniques. Their bloodline talent and ancestral secret techniques have been passed down for countless generations and have long been perfected. If there's a way to break it, it won't be discovered by students like us. When encountering those bloodline talents and secret techniques, there's basically no way to break it. I heard that more than half of Jin City's representative team are the disciples of the Takashi Hoshi clan. There are 13 cities in the Jiang province, and I'm afraid that the top 10 experts will be monopolized by the disciples of the Takashi Hoshi clan. Is the Takashi Hoshi clan that strong? Su Xiangwen asked somewhat indignantly. I'm sorry, but the Takashi Hoshi clan is really that strong. When I said that no one else would be able to compete if I participated, I was just bragging. In fact, I didn't have the confidence to enter the top 10, so I decided to give up. Sioux City's Mingwei clan is one of the top 100 Takashi Hoshi clans in the Jade State. Among the younger generation of the Mingwei clan, my strength and talent can be considered outstanding, but this world has never lacked monstrous and abnormal people. If you can easily defeat me when I go all out, then there's still hope to compete for the top 10. If you can't do it, then you might not even be able to reach the top 20. I'm not deliberately pouring cold water on you, but it's really difficult. Maigatsuk Castle had a good relationship with Wang Lan and the others, so they believed what he said. But because they believed, Jiang Sinyu's face suddenly became dignified. No matter how difficult it is, you must participate in the provincial martial tournament. If you don't work hard, who knows if you can succeed? Gong Feiyu said with a faint smile. Of course, I'll help you gather information about other cities these days. As a friend, I also hope that you can achieve good results, and it's best if you can catch the eye of the 4 great Cebu Gakuin. Thank you. There were 50 people in the class, but most of them didn't dare to fill in this form. This had nothing to do with courage, but mainly because the Sioux City team only chose 10 people. If they were impulsive and wanted to fill in the form, would they be able to rank in the top 10 of their grade? If they asked themselves, most of them would throw their pens away. Screw the provincial martial tournament. I'm destined to not even have the qualifications to represent Sioux City. What's the point of signing up? CSCC was currently struggling with this. CSCC could only write one name on the form in front of her and couldn't continue writing. Although CSCC's strength had increased by leaps and bounds, and in terms of unarmed combat, she was unrivaled in the 3rd year of Sioux City. But what was her true combat strength? She could only be ranked 8th in the class. 8th in the class, at most, could enter the top 30 of the grade. Being ranked in the top 10 of the team was almost impossible. Even if she signed up, she was destined to be eliminated. After thinking about it, CSCC finally put down her pen. You're also giving up? Jiang Xinyu asked after she finished filling in the form. With my strength, there's almost no hope for me to represent Sioux City in the tournament. I'll just forget about it. CSCC's face revealed a bitter smile. The important thing is to participate. What if you can enter the top 10 and represent Sioux City in the tournament? This can also add to your school resume. Even if you're eliminated at the beginning, being able to represent Sioux City in the tournament itself represents strength. Wang Lan turned around and advised. Seeing Wang Lan's gentle and encouraging eyes, CSCC once again picked up her pen and solemnly filled in the form. Seeing this scene, Jiang Xinyu really wanted to kick Wang Lan. Chapter 173. In the Heavenly Sword Bureau's Intelligence Department, Wang Qianfeng raised his head from his documents and rubbed his eyebrows tiredly. Bold guesses and meticulous investigations were Wang Qianfeng's usual style. Although he had initially guessed that Wang Mingling was behind the bank robbers, Wang Fengxiang had only been preparing for the worst. However, as the investigation deepened and more clues gathered, this worst-case scenario started to tilt towards reality bit by bit. From the many clues, it seemed that Wang Mingling not only had designs on Sioux City, but he might even have already arrived in Sioux City. Moreover, Wang Qianfeng dared to conclude that Wang Mingling was able to come back so smoothly and without a sound, he must have reached some kind of cooperation with some forces in the country. Wang Mingling, a Star Sea Realm expert, had many strange secret techniques that were impossible to guard against. What a difficult opponent. Wang Qianfeng sighed and closed the file in his hand. He stood up and took the file to the confidential department. Wow, so cool. Why didn't I notice it before? You're the one who's behind the times. Do you think of the sisters who called Wang Lan and Li Ge together as Sioux City's twin heroes were just blind rumors? Your reflexes were too slow, and you didn't see Wang Lan's potential from the beginning. In the past, Li Ji's bootlickers fought with us, saying that Wang Lan was useless except for his good luck, that his strength couldn't compare to Li Ge, and that he wasn't as handsome as Li Ge. Li Ge was handsome, my ass. He only knew how to act cool. How could he be as warm as Wang Lan? Wang Lan is only 17 years old, but he's already in the middle stage of star blazing. He can definitely reach the late stage of nebula before he's 20. In terms of coolness, Wang Lan's new moon arrow is several streets ahead of Li Ge. Ahem, Wang Qianfeng faintly coughed. Wang Chu, sorry. We filed a confidential file, Wang Qianfeng said faintly. His eyes, intentionally or unintentionally, swept over the two girls who were almost 30 years old. Their faces were red, and they were thinking about Wang Lan. After the new year, Wang Lan's popularity was indeed quite high. He also knew that many female guards in the bureau called Wang Lan and Li Ge the twin heroes. She heard that their fans had quarreled several times in the bureau's group chat. In Wang Qianfeng's opinion, this was purely a waste of time. If they had the time and energy, they might as well work hard to improve their own strength. However, it turned out that when it came to chasing fans, women were irrational creatures. In their words, what's wrong with chasing fans? Chasing fans was an attitude and a way of life. He was already in the Heavenly Sword Bureau, so why couldn't he have some hobbies outside of work? At least the fertile water didn't flow to other people's fields. Weren't his fans still his own brothers in the bureau? The two girls looked flustered as they received the file from Wang Qianfeng. Wang Chu, do you want to destroy it? No need, but it needs to be Class A, confidential. By the way, what's Wang Lan in the limelight again? Wang Qianfeng asked casually. He thought about how Wang Lan hadn't come to the bureau for more than half a month since school started. Last time, he had been promoted to a military rank and received a glorious sun medal. After that, he had run away. He had intervened in the robbery case, and this time, he had also intervened in the foreign assassin's assassination. Why was he so unconcerned about finding Wang Mingling's whereabouts and the foreign assassin's nest? Was he too arrogant? In any case, Wang Qianfeng had completely lost his patience at this moment. Even if Wang Lan was in front of Wang Qianfeng could confidently point at Wang Lan's nose and scold him. Aren't you a mascot? Aren't you a koi? Aren't you the legend of finding the traitor in 1 day, cracking the elite spy team in 2 days, and cracking the magic medicine production workshop in 3 days? Do it again. What's wrong with doing it again? Why don't you find him for me? However, due to his face and the fact that Wang Lan was preparing for the provincial martial arts competition, Wang Qianfeng had never made up his mind to call Wang Lan to the bureau to give him some luck attribute bonus. But today, after hearing the conversation between the two girls, it seemed that Wang Lan wasn't idle and was up to no good again. No, it's still the case of Flower Snake 6 robbing the bank. Didn't Wang Lan happen to encounter it? The place where he made his move happened to be at the speed test section of the viaduct. There was a surveillance camera installed, and it recorded the scene of Wang Lan making his move. Oh, send it to me. The two girls from the confidential department didn't dare to hesitate and quickly sent the video to Wang Qianfeng. After returning the documents, Wang Qianfeng returned to his office. Looking at the calendar, it was the weekend again. He opened the video and saw a black escort car driving rapidly on the highway. On the rooftop of the residential area in the distance, a figure fell from the sky like a rock spreading its wings. With a boom, it landed on the viaduct. The camera could only capture the side of Wang Lan's face. A cool breeze brushed his face, and his trench coat danced like flames. His hair was elegant, and indeed, it set off Wang Lan's figure to be extraordinarily handsome. Seeing the scene in the video, Wang Qianfeng couldn't help but feel a little suffocated. In a trance, he seemed to see another woman who was as dazzling as the sun. The two figures overlapped perfectly at this moment. Wang Lan suddenly raised his hand and stretched his arm forward like a pistol. In an instant, the golden star power surged and the hem of his clothes danced even more violently. In an instant, A pair of golden wings spread out from Wang Lan's wrist, like a longbow drawn to a full moon. Whoosh! An arrow broke through Wang Lan's fingertips and instantly hit the escort car in the distance. This scene, this arrow, could indeed be said to be unbelievably handsome. No matter what kind of girl saw this scene, her eyes would definitely shine. But at this moment, Wang Qianfeng's face suddenly darkened. New moon arrow. Vermilion bird. What followed was naturally the scene where Wang Lan shot another arrow and directly shattered the left wheel of the escort car. The escort car rolled and rushed to the opposite lane. But this scene could no longer evoke the warmth on Wang Qianfeng's face. Wang Qianfeng's face was as black as the bottom of a pot. The Vermilion Bird Company was the shame of Wang Qianfeng's life. Even if Wang Qianfeng tried his best, he wasn't even qualified to apply for the Special Forces. Wang Qianfeng didn't have any resentment toward the Vermilion Bird Company. They only recruited elites above the Star Sea realm. It was understandable that Wang Qianfeng's strength was not enough. If this place didn't want him, there would be other places for him, right? But you came to this daddy's bowl to poach people. That's too much. What happened to the rule of only recruiting Star Sea realm elites? Fed to the dogs? You even taught me the new moon arrow, this iconic Takashi Hoshi skill. Can't you at least respect this daddy a little and hide your intentions? The Vermilion Bird Company had 4 major Takashi Hoshi skills. Every member of the Vermilion Bird Company had to master these skills. The new moon arrow was one of them. Wang Qianfeng's eyebrows kept twitching when he thought about how Wang Lan would soon be poached by the Vermilion Bird Company. He picked up the phone at hand and dialed a number. In Wang Lan's underground training room, Jiang Xinyu and CSCC were fiercely practicing Takashi Hoshi skills. It had to be said that CSCC's talent was indeed terrifying. In just a week's time, not only did she master the water bullet steel cannon taught by Liu Jie, she also mastered the Mizukage substitute given to her by Wang Lan. However, although he had learned these 2-star martial skills, he had not yet cultivated them to the point of instant release, nor had he reached the point where he could release them whenever he wanted to, where he could instinctively launch them in the nick of time. But even so, only 7 days had passed. CSCC was able to learn 2 C-rank Takashi Hoshi skills in 7 days. This talent had already convinced Su Xiangwen and the others. As for the extreme water wall given to her by Jiang Xinyu, CSCC was still unable to master it. After all, she was not a cheater like Wang Lan. In this week's time, the 5-man team had been practicing Takashi Hoshi skills in Wang Lan's house. Their combat experience gradually improved through the random battles. Beep, beep, beep. The phone rang. Wang Lan picked up the phone. When he saw that it was Wang Chu, he quickly ran to the side to answer the call. Wang Chu. Wang Lan, today is Saturday. You shouldn't be in school, right? Wang Chu, do you have a mission? I'm completely free. I promise to complete the mission. You report to the station first. Yes. Boom. With a loud sound, CSCC was hit by Jiang Xinyu's Takashi Hoshi skill. Her body was thrown high into the air and slammed into the electromagnetic shield. Cough, cough, cough. Blood foam came out of her mouth along with violent coughs. Cici, are you okay? Jiang Xinyu asked nervously. Although Wang Lan was protecting her, every time she injured CSCC, Jiang Xinyu was very scared. I'm fine, my internal organs were just hit. As expected, I'm still a long way from Xinyu. Once Xinyu uses Takashi Hoshi, I have no chance of winning. Cici's strength has improved a lot. At this rate, it won't be a problem for her to catch up to us before graduation. Su Xiangwen stood up and took off his jacket to comfort her. The gap between CSCC and them was not something that could be closed in 1 or 2 months. At the very least, she would have to wait until she was a freshman or sophomore. Brothers, I have to go out for something. You guys continue. If I'm not back by nightfall, don't wait for me. Remember to close the door. Something from the top. I'm not sure. Anyway, they want me to go. Cici, come here. I'll treat you. After treating CSCC, Wang Lan rode his electric scooter to the Heavenly Sword Bureau. He went straight to the 5th floor and knocked on Wang Qianfeng's office door. Come in. Reporting in Wang Chu and Wang Lan. Wang Lan, When are you planning to jump ship? Wang Qianfeng asked with a smile as he stood up and leaned back in his chair. Jump ship? No. Wang Lan was confused. Have you met anyone from the Vermilion Bird Company? Gong Jian's face suddenly appeared in Wang Lan's mind. He didn't know what Wang Qianfeng meant, so he could only nod silently. What benefits did they promise you? No, Wang Chu. Are you misunderstanding something? I know someone who retired from the Vermilion Bird Company. His name is Gong Jian. He's the manager of the Takashi Hoshi Hall in Sioux City. Retired? Ha. Are you misunderstanding something about the Vermilion Bird Company? In the Vermilion Bird Company, they only die in battle. You can retire if you want, but you can only retire if you die in battle. That crazy? How do you know Gong Jian? Tell me everything in detail. Immediately, Wang Lan told Wang Qianfeng the details of the purchase of the crescent moon arrows. Wang Qianfeng felt a headache coming on. Vermilion Bird didn't take the initiative to poach Wang Lan, but Wang Lan took the initiative to send himself to the door. Long range, A-rank Takashi Hoshi skill. Do you think A-rank Takashi Hoshi skills are cabbages? Do you think you can get it just because you want it? Long range shooting Takashi Hoshi skills. There are only a few A-rank and above. Which one of them isn't tightly covered by various forces? Can you buy it with money? Which person with A-rank Takashi Hoshi skills is sure of money? Wang Qianfeng held back for a long time and finally decided to vent his anger on Wang Lan. You already have 2 A-rank Takashi Hoshi skills. Why do you still want to learn the crescent moon arrows? 2 A-rank Takashi Hoshi skills aren't enough for you? What do you think Takashi Hoshi skills are? The more, the better? What do Takashi Hoshi people avoid the most? Mixed but not refined, broad but not pure. Even if you know 10 types of Takashi Hoshi skills, it's not as good as you practicing one type of Takashi Hoshi skill to perfection. Do you think that Nebula Sword Dance and Flame Blade are very good? I think it's okay. Wang Lan lowered his eyes and replied honestly. You. Chapter 174. Wang Lan's words caused Wang Qianfeng's chest to hurt. Although Wang Qianfeng knew that Wang Lan's talent was okay, he didn't take his senior's warning seriously. What do you mean you think it's okay? This was the experience of countless Takashi Hoshi seniors. What use do you think it is? But Wang Lan was still young. If he wasn't aggressive and arrogant, would he still be young? Instantly, Wang Qianfeng's lips curled into a sneer. What do you think? Very good. You finally let me see your immature side. You are star-blazing. Your star power is very dense, right? How much star power do you need to release an A-rank Takashi Hoshi technique? This depends on the situation. Flaming Blade and Nebula Sword Dance are continuous Takashi Hoshi techniques. I can continuously release them for about 10 minutes. 10 minutes? Looks like your star power isn't that special. I can release Nebula Sword Dance for more than 4 hours. Nebula can release it for at least an hour. You can only release it for 10 minutes. 10 minutes. Is that a long time for you? You think 10 minutes is enough to end a battle? You are star-blazing. Star-blazing. No matter how talented you are, in the world of Takashi Hoshi, you are just cannon fodder. In a truly tragic battlefield, it is all up to luck to survive. You think you have already mastered Nebula Sword Dance and Flaming Blade, using the least amount of star power to sustain the longest battle. Releasing the strongest power of Takashi Hoshi techniques with the most star power is the direction you should be working towards. Not learning Takashi Hoshi techniques in a muddle-headed manner. Greed is like a snake trying to swallow an elephant. In the face of Wang Qianfeng's angry rebuke, Wang Lan humbly accepted the advice. Wang Chu, I know you're good to me, but the weakness of my fighting style is too obvious. Flaming Blade and Nebula Sword Dance were only close combat abilities, and my stats were too easily countered. Once I met a Takashi Hoshi who could control the field, fight in the air, and fight from a distance, I would be at a disadvantage. The provincial martial art competition is just around the corner. That's why I'm learning the new moon archery. The reason isn't important. What's important is that you're now on the wrong path. You don't want to work on the application of Takashi Hoshi's techniques, but you want to make up for it with the quantity of Takashi Hoshi's techniques. This was moving forward while carrying a heavy load. Come with me. With that, Wang Qianfeng slammed the door and left the office. With Wang Lan in tow, Wang Qianfeng arrived at the training grounds of the Heavenly Sword Bureau. You said that Takashi Hoshi would be at a disadvantage when facing aerial, long-range, and field control. Watch carefully. As soon as Wang Qianfeng finished speaking, the star power around him surged. The star power fluctuation was the fluctuation of the nebula sword dance. Wang Lan instantly recognized it. Void step. With a loud shout, Wang Qianfeng's body instantly soared into the sky. Both his feet stepped on the void rapidly, and explosions erupted under Wang Qianfeng's feet. Wang Qianfeng seemed to be strolling in the void as he rapidly changed his position in the sky. Sword Chi. Wang Qianfeng's 2 fingers turned into a sword as he continuously brandished his sword moves in the void. Sword Chi shot out like lotuses falling from the sky. Countless sword Chi rained down like rain. This was still the application of the nebula sword dance, but this was an advanced application. Looking at Wang Qianfeng, who was dancing in the sky like a fairy, Wang Lan's heart suddenly trembled. You're still my lord after all. Originally, he had already upgraded the nebula sword dance to the level of silver rank 9. He had already developed the nebula sword dance to a profound level. But now, it seemed that he was still far from it. The silver rank nebula sword dance had only developed the form and level of the nebula sword dance to the extreme. The gold rank nebula sword dance had even increased the dimension, reaching the level where it could move unhindered by the sea, land, and air. If he could upgrade the nebula sword dance to the gold rank, Wang Lan indeed didn't need to learn a new Takashi Hoshi technique. But wasn't this impossible? Breaking through nebula before the provincial martial arts competition? Wasn't it just a month's time a joke? Moreover, the benefit of learning the crescent moon arrow wasn't just an additional long-range Takashi Hoshi technique. It was also a precedent for compound Takashi Hoshi techniques. Therefore, although Wang Qianfeng's words made sense, Wang Lan didn't feel that he was wrong. There were skill points to upgrade a technique. Was there a hidden danger of being mixed but not proficient? If there was, it could only be due to insufficient skill points. Kid, now you know how foolish it is to be greedy, right? Other Takashi Hoshi practitioners bitterly pursued Takashi Hoshi techniques, because even if they reached Nebula, they might not have learned any good B-rank Takashi Hoshi techniques. Unlike you, kid, who started with an S-rank forbidden technique and got 2 A-rank Takashi Hoshi techniques to upgrade. What else are you not satisfied with to pursue more Takashi Hoshi techniques? Do you still dare to do it in the future? Wang Lan lowered her head, but she was thinking about how a week had passed. Why was there no news of Gong Jian's A-rank, lightning-type Takashi Hoshi technique? With the lightning-type technique, he might be able to challenge all Nebula. When Wang Qianfeng suddenly asked this, Wang Lan subconsciously replied, "You still dare?" Wang Qianfeng's eyes were wide open, and he was panting like a bull. If it wasn't for the fact that the person in front of him was Wang Lan, Wang Qianfeng would have slapped this idiot to death. Had his wings hardened? Had his words no longer carried any weight? Su Shiyun, come at training ground number 3 right now. Wang Qianfeng picked up his phone and made a call. Wang Chu, calm down. My situation is a bit special. Really, I won't be in the situation you described. Also, I've already asked Gong Jian to find me an A-rank lightning-type Takashi Hoshi technique. Thunder-type? Wang Qianfeng widened his eyes. You're AF * King Fire-type. Okay. No, I should be a hidden full attribute Takashi Hoshi. I should be able to cultivate any. Wang Qianfeng raised his hand and interrupted Wang Lan, his eyes flashing with deep disappointment. I really don't know what happened to you to have such a big impact on you. You've already fallen into a demon's trap. Hidden full attribute? Did you take your dreams for real? In human history, there are no more than 10 full attribute Takashi Hoshi. Also, there's nothing to hide. If there is, wait for it to be sliced into pieces by Zhongnan Shan. Oh, maybe I was dreaming last night. Wang Chu, you call for me? Su Shiyun, you came at the right time. Comrade Wang Lan has been a bit arrogant recently. Teach him well. I'll only allow you to use one Earth-type Takashi Hoshi technique. Wang Chu, are you serious? Su Shiryun asked again. What do you mean only one earth type is allowed? I'm an earth type Takashi Hoshi, okay? Only one earth type is allowed. Other than the 4C class, there were 3 B class and 2 A class. Just use your earth god. I want to let Wang Lan understand that a Takashi Hoshi technique has to be used well. Learning more fancy things is a waste and meaningless. After saying that, Wang Qianfeng turned and left. At this moment, the disappearance of Wang Qianfeng's fight between Su Shiryun and Wang Lan spread throughout the Heavenly Sword Bureau. Although they didn't understand what Wang Lan had done to make Wang Qianfeng angry, wasn't he idle? Moreover, Wang Lan's popularity was very high now. Many people expressed their concern. Gradually, a few high-level elites of the Heavenly Sword Bureau gathered in the 3rd training ground. At the top of a tree, Li Gu crossed his arms and watched quietly. Zhang Yeqiu and Zhang Xiaoxue went to sit on chairs outside the training ground. There were also a few hidden corners around the training ground. There were always 1 or 2 eyes staring at the training ground. Wang Lan, Wang Chu asked me to teach you a lesson. I don't want to. What did you do to offend Wang Chu? Can't you just apologize? The corner of Wang Lan's mouth twitched slightly. Do you think I'm blind with that eager expression of yours? Brother Su is right. Wang Chu, I was wrong. Wang Lan, you can't go against the orders of your superiors. Take this, Su Shi shouted impatiently. Astral power flowed like electricity. In an instant, it reached Wang Lan's feet. Wang Lan immediately retreated all the way to the edge of the training field. The ground in front of him sparkled like the surface of the sea. Su Shiryun stepped on the surface of the sea like an immortal. Step by step, he walked to the center of the training ground. Wang Lan, this is an A-class Takashi Hoshi technique, Earth Spirit. In fact, this is just a Takashi Hoshi technique for controlling the Earth. But Takashi Hoshi technique has a special secret. It can perfectly control the Earth. Therefore, the Takashi Hoshi technique, which was originally a beginner use of the Earth element, has been improved by countless predecessors. It has now become an A-class Takashi Hoshi technique. I'll stand here and don't move. Come at me. As soon as he finished speaking, Su Shiryun hooked his finger provocatively. Wang Lan couldn't stand such a show-off, but Wang Lan didn't rush forward. Seeing that Wang Lan didn't move, Su Shiryun suddenly moved. His figure instantly turned into an afterimage and approached Wang Lan by a few meters. Su Shiryun advanced by a few meters, and the ground under his feet that sensed the fluctuation of star power also advanced by a few meters. In an instant, it invaded Wang Lan's feet. In an instant, Wang Lan felt that something was wrong. The ground under his feet didn't feel like the surface of the sea. Instead, it really became water. His body was about to fall down. Wang Lan had experienced Su Shiryun's earth elemental technique. Last time, when Su Shiryun brought him underground, he felt like he was walking in water. At this moment, this feeling struck him again. However, this water was fatal. Wang Lan understood that as long as he was trapped in the ground, he would be done for. Almost at the moment his ankle fell into the water, Wang Lan's nebula sword dance was successfully launched. The flow of star power from the nebula sword dance destroyed the earth element star power's control over the ground. Wang Lan instantly broke free and stood safely on the ground. Wang Lan instantly rushed towards Su Shiryun. When he was less than 10 meters away, the surrounding ground suddenly rolled up like the surface of the sea in a storm. Wang Lan can't win, Zhang Xiaoxue, who was wearing furry earmuffs, suddenly said calmly. Xiaoxue, what you're saying makes it sound like you thought that Wang Lan could win. Zhang Yeqiu asked in surprise. Yes, I didn't expect Su Shiryun to cultivate Earth God Spirit to this level. Earth God Spirit is one of the top Takashi Hoshi techniques of the Earth element, but at the same time, it's also a very difficult Takashi Hoshi technique. Wang Lan has a lot of advantages, but they are overshadowed by Star Blazing's realm. He can switch between Takashi Hoshi techniques without any time interval. His speed is much faster than ordinary people. His battle awareness is not below ours. These are Wang Lan's advantages. Su Shiryun can only use one Takashi Hoshi technique and can't use other Takashi Hoshi techniques. This is Su Shiryun's disadvantage. With this difference, it's not like Wang Lan doesn't have any chance of winning. But now, Su Shiryun has mastered Earth God Spirit to this extent. No matter how many advantages Wang Lan has, it's useless. That's not necessarily true. Li Ji's voice suddenly interrupted the sisters' conversation. Chapter 175. Oh, what do you think, Captain Li? No. Li Gu shook his head and said lightly, from a rational point of view, I agree with your conclusion, but my intuition tells me that Wang Lan may not necessarily lose. Intuition? Zhang Yeqiu looked at Li Gu in shock, as if she had discovered a new continent. Li Gu actually said intuition? Was this still the cold and ruthless Li Gu who kept strangers away? Wang Lan is a person who creates miracles. When we think that he will definitely lose and has no chance of winning, he will always unexpectedly make a comeback. While speaking, Li Ji's eyes were fixed on Wang Lan, who was in the middle of the torrent of soil. At this moment, Wang Lan's situation was far from as good as Li Gu said. It was even very dangerous. The soil tornado surrounding Wang Lan was rapidly shrinking. Wang Lan tried to attack again and again, but he was blocked by the mud wall. This rotating tornado was the bread crust processed by the pastry chef, and at this moment, Wang Lan was the meat filling in the bread crust. Wang Lan clearly remembered how the demonized Takashi Hoshi was compressed by Su Shiryun's soil and finally turned into a pile of mud. Although Su Shiryun would not do this to him, Wang Lan could not accept losing without any resistance. Su Shiryun raised his hands in front of his chest and gradually put them together. Wang Lan, you still don't want to admit defeat? If you don't admit defeat, you won't have chance. Brother Su, I think I can still struggle. Then struggle all you want. Burial. Su Shiryun instantly put his hands together, and the soil above his head whistled down from the sky. At this critical moment, Wang Lan instantly switched to Takashi Hoshi. Twin flame slash. A loud roar erupted from the collapsing mud. Wang Lan's flaming blade suddenly changed shape again. The flaming blade lengthened by about 2 meters. Wang Lan's body spun violently, and the collapsing mud was instantly cut apart by the flaming blade. It was like a bottle with a section cut off. Boom! A figure appeared. The flaming blade was also aflame, and it suddenly burned in a sealed environment. Wang Lan was instantly hit by a burst of air pressure and rushed into the sky through the hole in the top of his head. Wang Lan instantly switched to Takashi Hoshi as he charged into the sky. His fingers formed the shape of a gun and pointed at Su Shiryun from above. New Moon Arrow. A silver-white arrow crossed a distance of tens of meters and fiercely rushed towards Su Shiryun. Su Shiryun's eyes revealed a touch of surprise, but he didn't panic at all. The soil in front of him rose, and in the blink of an eye, turned into an earth wall in front of him. Boom! The new moon arrow hit the earth wall, and the earth wall exploded. Unfortunately, it didn't break through Su Shiryun's defense. The earth element's defense was second only to the metal element, but the metal element didn't have the flexibility of the earth element. If the strength wasn't enough, the thickness would make up for it. This was the usual move of the earth element Takashi Hoshi. Therefore, Wang Lan's star moon arrow could penetrate 0.5 meter of the stone wall, but it couldn't penetrate 1 meter of the stone wall. Seeing that the arrow didn't work, Wang Lan's face revealed a trace of pity. Su Shiryun's face revealed a look of lingering fear. Just now, he didn't intend to use such a thick wall. Fortunately, because of his understanding of Wang Lan's treachery, he quickly thickened the wall. He had almost capsized in the gutter again. Sure enough, he should treat Wang Lan with 120% seriousness. Thinking of this, Su Shiryun's eyes instantly became serious. His hands clasped together, and under the surge of astral power, the area under his control began to shrink, but his control over the earth was definitely stronger. Old Wang, what's the matter? Why are you suddenly in the mood to let Su Shiryun train Wang Lan today? He Mingxue asked with a smile. In the past half-month, He Mingxue was indeed flushed with success. The establishment of the Shadow Operations Department allowed He Mingshue's real power to explode. The Shadow Operations Department could be non-existent or it could be everywhere. When it wasn't needed, it would disappear without a trace. But when it was needed, anyone in the department could become a ghost in the dark night. Now, the establishment of the Shadow Operations Department was almost complete. Other than the director and He Mingxue, no one knew the list of members of the Shadow Operations Department. He Mingxue thought of pulling Wang Lan into the Shadow Operations Department, but he suddenly realized that Wang Lan's identity as the Celestial Sword Special Service was already a secret identity. There was no room for manipulation if he was pulled into the Shadow Operations Department. Wang Lan needed to go to school most of the time. Occasionally, when he was free, he would deal with the work of the Heavenly Sword Bureau. But just because there was no room for manipulation now didn't mean there wouldn't be in the future. He Mingshue's current motto was to poach Wang Qianfeng's people and make Wang Qianfeng have no one to use. He Mingxue, Wang Lan has learned a new Takashi Hoshi skill. Wang Qianfeng said faintly with his arms crossed. A new Takashi Hoshi skill? What does that have to do with anything? He Mingxue asked in confusion. Wang Lan now knew 3 Takashi Hoshi skills. With Wang Lan's talent, as long as he didn't know more than 4 Takashi Hoshi skills, it wouldn't be a problem. The new Takashi Hoshi skill he learned is called New Moon Arrow. He Mingshue's expression suddenly changed. Vermilion Bird has targeted Wang Lan. Yes, this is sooner or later. Not to mention Wang Lan's talent and potential, just based on the fact that he cultivated the Phoenix form at the Heavenly Body tier, Vermilion Bird will come to him sooner or later. But it's better to be late than early. It's difficult for raw stones to become useful without undergoing tempering, and raw stones that withstand excessive tempering are easy to be scrapped. The Heavenly Sword Bureau can provide protection for Wang Lan in terms of strength and safety. Vermilion Bird has appeared too early. Has Vermilion Bird sent an invitation to Wang Lan? No, but teaching Wang Lan the New Moon Arrow is undoubtedly telling everyone that Vermilion Bird has her eyes on him. Do you think Vermilion Bird doesn't know how many people are targeting her and how many enemies she has? But this time, Vermilion Bird didn't take the initiative to poach him, but Wang Lan himself. Don't you think that's infuriating? He still doesn't repent and thinks that the more Takashi Hoshi skills, the better. He arrogantly thinks that he can learn all Takashi Hoshi skills to perfection. Who does he think he is? Mysterious sect? That he can master 100 Takashi Hoshi skills? I want Su Shiyin to teach him the good lesson. No matter how many Takashi Hoshi skills he learns, it's not as good as specializing in one Takashi Hoshi skill. If you can use one Takashi Hoshi skill to perfection, you'll be invincible no matter how many tricks your opponent has up their sleeves. Wang Qianfeng deliberately said the last part loudly to let the 2 people fighting in the field know the reason why Wang Qianfeng wanted to let Wang Lan and Su Shiyin fight today. I'm not bullying Wang Lan, I'm doing it for his own good. Wang Lan's philosophy has already gone astray. He intends to learn more Takashi Hoshi skills to improve his crooked ways. Hearing Wang Qianfeng's words, everyone who was secretly watching the fight showed understanding. This is a lesson that Wang Lan must learn. If he doesn't wake up, Wang Lan will never return from the wrong path. Limited talent and limited energy. It's impossible to seek quantitative change. Only qualitative change can improve one's limited life as soon as possible. Director Wang Qianfeng is farsighted. He's worthy of being Wang Lan's life mentor. Especially Su Shiyin, his chest was burning. Wang Lan, I'm not bullying you. I'm beating you to wake you up. Since it's like this, I won't hold back. Star power surged, Earth River Wheel. More than a dozen Earth Dragons suddenly raised their heads from the ground. F***CK. Isn't this too exaggerated? Wang Lan's heart trembled. In a radius of 5 meters around him, more than a dozen Earth Dragons were erected. He felt like he was on the dining table, ready to be eaten at any time. If he didn't move now, it would be tantamount to waiting for death. Wang Lan's figure instantly shot out. His left hand formed a pistol, pointing at Su Shiyin, who was blocked by the earth wall. At this moment, the Earth Dragons also moved, bombarding Wang Lan's head from all directions. Whoosh! A crescent moon arrow shot out. An earth dragon gently swung its tail, easily blocking Wang Lan's crescent moon arrow. The arrow hit and exploded. Half of the earth dragon's tail was smashed. Wang Lan's figure instantly flipped backward. He stepped on the head of the new earth dragon and slashed down with the flame saber in his left hand. The huge dragon head was cut open by the sharp flame saber, and the earth dragon collapsed. At the same time, the earth dragons behind him hit at the same time. Wang Lan turned back and shot an arrow. The crescent moon arrow was like a laser, piercing into the earth dragon's mouth. Suddenly, there was a scream from the dormitory balcony outside the third training ground. More than a dozen female guards who were standing on a balcony watching Wang Lan fight let out excited screams. Wang Lan's instantaneous and continuous movements were too cool. The flame saber in his left hand and the arrow in his right hand pierced the earth dragon's head. The whole process was smooth and unhurried. There was a confidence and calmness in the elegance. The female guards who were watching from afar lost control on the spot when they saw such a classic scene. It's recorded, so cool. I want to make a short video. I want to post it on the Bureau's network. Those who were watching from afar did not realize the brilliance of Wang Lan's move, but the few who were watching in the training ground understood. How was this just smooth and flowing? How was it just a saber and an arrow? This was a flame saber in his left hand and a crescent moon arrow in his right. This was a composite Takashi Hoshi technique. A composite Takashi Hoshi technique was a high-end Takashi Hoshi technique that could only be cultivated and mastered when one reached the galaxy realm. Forget about star blazing. Even Nebula would not be able to master it. But what did Wang Lan do? Using star blazing's composite Takashi Hoshi technique? Was this too much? What a beast! Wang Qinfeng's expression was one of regret, but the corners of his mouth kept twitching. What did they say just now? Broad but not refined, mixed but not pure? Learning more Takashi Hoshi techniques would only drag down one's talent and make one's amazing talent mediocre. This was mediocre. A star brilliance realm innate skill that could display compound star martial techniques was called F** King mediocre. Several gazes shot toward Wang Qianfeng. Wang Qianfeng only felt a burning pain on his face. What he said just now was too full of himself. He had almost forgotten that Wang Lan was not a normal person to begin with. Being able to use two Takashi Hoshi techniques at the same time is far from being a composite Takashi Hoshi technique. This is only the first step of a composite Takashi Hoshi technique. It's still far from truly fusing two Takashi Hoshi techniques. Furthermore, a composite Takashi Hoshi technique is a combination of two Takashi Hoshi techniques. The crescent moon arrow is a transformation Takashi Hoshi technique, so there is no requirement to use a composite Takashi Hoshi technique. As soon as he finished speaking, Wang Lan successfully soared into the sky with the help of the Earth Dragon. Wang Lan finally understood that it was impossible to defeat Su Shiyun in a fair and square manner. Su Shiyun was getting stronger and stronger, and the longer he dragged this out, the more miserable his loss would be. The only chance left for Wang Lan to win was to take an unconventional approach. With absolute firepower, he could win in one fell swoop. Human cannonball, ready. Wang Lan's figure paused in midair, his left hand forming a pistol and pointing at Su Shiyun. Purple flame arrow. Chapter 176. Majestic star power surged, and a golden light circulated around half of Wang Lan's body. The golden sunlight sprinkled down like a curtain of light, dyeing half of Wang Lan's body into an angel. From his wrist, a pair of purple flame wings spread open, and a burning flame arrow formed from Wang Lan's fingertips. This scene stunned everyone below, and their faces were filled with disbelief. Whether it was Li Gu, who guessed that Wang Lan could make a comeback, or Zhang Xiaoxue, who thought that Wang Lan would lose for sure. At this moment, it was as if they had seen a ghost. Li Gu guessed that Wang Lan could make a comeback with a method he didn't know. It could be a Takashi Hoshi technique, a self-inflicted injury for injury, or even a Star Palace artifact left behind by a powerful Takashi Hoshi. But he didn't expect that Wang Lan would use a combination of Takashi Hoshi techniques. And it wasn't a combination of two Takashi Hoshi techniques at the same time, but a combination of Takashi Hoshi techniques perfectly. Brother Su, be careful. F***CK. Wang Lan's arrow instantly shot out, and Su Shiryun hurriedly condensed his strongest defense, and the granite walls around him rapidly rose layer by layer. The purple flame arrow easily pierced through the granite walls and arrived in front of Su Shiryun in an instant. At this moment, Su Shiryun was already wrapped in a layer of strange stone with a black luster. A strange egg was formed around the void real cloud. It was really unknown what an Earth-type Takashi Hoshi was thinking. They actually liked to form eggshells for their own defenses. Boom! A purple flame instantly exploded, and the black luster eggshell was suddenly ignited, burning fiercely. And at the place where the eggshell broke, Su Shiryun stared at Wang Lan with his eyes wide open, terrified. It wasn't that Su Shiryun wasn't strong enough, but that Wang Lan was too abnormal. He actually mastered the combination of Takashi Hoshi techniques in Star Blazing. What was he trying to do? Was he trying to make all the Takashi Hoshi in Nebula feel ashamed and disembowel on the spot? The world suddenly became very quiet. Even the girls in the dormitory building outside the training ground were dumbfounded, recalling the blood-spurting moment just now. Wang Lan's body fell on the defensive wall erected by Su Shiryun and then slid down the wall. At this point, the competition should be over. Prince Wang, he probably won't. Wang Qianfeng couldn't hold back his expression any longer. His mouth was wide open, and he stared at Wang Lan, dumbfounded. He even made meaningless cracking sounds in his throat. Being able to use two Takashi Hoshi techniques at the same time is far from being a combination Takashi Hoshi technique. This is only the first step of the combination of Takashi Hoshi techniques. It's still far from truly combining two Takashi Hoshi techniques. Moreover, the combination of Takashi Hoshi techniques is the combination of two element-type Takashi Hoshi techniques. The crescent arrow is a form-type Takashi Hoshi technique. There's no requirement to use a combination of Takashi Hoshi techniques. He Mingxue imitated Wang Qianfeng's voice. In that instant, Wang Qianfeng came back to his senses, and his face immediately became as black as a sheet of paper. He Mingxue, there's no time like the present. Today, I'm going to challenge you. Old Wang, why are you getting more and more shameless? You were the one who wanted to teach Wang Lan a lesson. Instead of teaching him, you were taught a lesson. Don't vent your anger on me. Of course I can't vent my anger. But aren't you a punching bag? Who else am I going to look for if not you? He Mingxue, take this. Punching bag? Wang Qianfeng, you dare. I'm from the Law Enforcement Division. Law Enforcement Division my ass. This is just a spar between fellow disciples. Another high-quality duel between peak experts immediately took place in the training ground. Wang Lan smiled bitterly and shook his head. Just as he turned to leave, Li Gu, Zhang Yeqiu, Su Shiryun, and the others appeared in front of Wang Lan. They stared at Wang Lan with unfriendly eyes. That fiery gaze made Wang Lan subconsciously have the impulse to tighten his grip on his collar. Suddenly, Su Shiryun took a step forward and instantly appeared in front of Wang Lan. He grabbed Wang Lan's collar and shook him back and forth. How did you do it? How did you do it? How can you be so monstrous? Cough, cough, cough. Let go, let go. I've been brilliant all my life. But it's all been ruined by you. If I had known that you had mastered the compound Takashi Hoshi technique, how could I not have been prepared? How could I have let you succeed? Wow, come on, you're too limited by only being able to use one Takashi Hoshi technique. Even if you knew that Wang Lan could use the compound Takashi Hoshi technique, you couldn't have blocked Wang Lan's arrow with just one. The only defensive method I could think of was underground travel. The only countermeasure I could think of was earth explosion or gravity control. What else could you do? Let go of Wang Lan. Let him explain how he managed to use the compound Takashi Hoshi technique. Li Gu softly interrupted Su Shiryun's rage. It's very simple. Wang Lan, who was put down, smoothed his messy hair and smiled faintly. I have a little trick. As long as you master this little trick, you can use the compound Takashi Hoshi technique. Divide your mind into 4 parts and use 2 parts to control the left and right sides of your body. Then use the 2 different Takashi Hoshi techniques on both sides of your body. The remaining part of your mind is like shuffling cards. Combine the star energy of the 2 Takashi Hoshi techniques. When you release them, you can instantly change the way you use the 2 Takashi Hoshi techniques. As long as you alternate them quickly enough, you can easily use the compound Takashi Hoshi technique. Isn't it very simple? The expressions of the 4 people kept changing as they listened to Wang Lan's explanation. The moment he finished speaking, the 4 people's faces suddenly turned ashen. Wang Lan, do you have some misunderstanding about how simple it is? You call this simple? Zhang Yeqiu clenched her teeth and asked word by word. It's not simple. Sis, don't worry about it. That part of him is different from us. Some people's talents are born to make others despair. Li Goose sighed softly, then silently turned around and left with light steps. Let's go. I won't be able to learn this monster's method. Su Shiyun waved his hand in defeat and turned to leave. Hey, right, did you find anything about the assassin last time? Wang Lan suddenly caught up to Su Shiyun. Recently, the class was discussing whether or not Mu Xiaoyan could come back to participate in the city selection. Since they were at the Heavenly Sword Bureau, Wang Lan took the opportunity to ask. No, the higher-ups only speculated that Wang Mingling might have already snuck into Su City. When Mu Yinxing was assassinated, Wang Mingling didn't make a move. The 4 foreigners should be Wang Mingling's subordinates. You killed one and the other 3 escaped. But these 3 seem to have disappeared. We couldn't find anything even after a week of searching. Is that so? Then what about Mu Xiaoyan? Is he still receiving treatment? Mu Xiaoyan? That classmate of yours? Su Shiyun looked at Wang Lan curiously. He hasn't returned to school yet. He was discharged the next day. Is that so? Wang Lan sighed. With such a big change, I hope he can pull through. Wang Lan wasn't familiar with Mu Xiaoyan. Although they met a few times, they didn't talk much. His only impression of Mu Xiaoyan was that he was a genius that wasn't any weaker than Jiang Xinyu. His family and talent were similar to Jiang Xinyu. His overall results were always first. After returning from the Heavenly Sword Bureau, Jiang Xinyu and the others left. Wang Lan made a call, and the 4 of them were eating at East Sky Gate. Wang Lan changed his clothes and immediately went out to meet up. Another week passed quietly. There was still no news from the Takashi Hoshi Hall. During this week, the 5-man team practiced in Wang Lan's practice room every day. The city selection would begin on Monday. It was no longer realistic to say that they wanted to improve their strength. The continuous high-intensity training was just to maintain their condition and prepare for the school's internal selection in their best state. When Wang Lan handed in the application form, the system already had a mission in progress. Unsurprisingly, this mission was for the provincial martial arts competition. Of course, Wang Lan's ultimate goal was to maximize his benefits. Whether or not he could break through Nebula depended on this provincial martial arts competition. Therefore, even if it was a city selection, Wang Lan had to put in 120% of his effort. Sioux City Takashi Hoshi High School only had Sioux City No. 1 High School. In Wang Lan's class, there were 500 Takashi Hoshi students in Sioux City. Takashi Hoshi School District had a total of 10 classes of grade 12 students. But according to Wang Lan's knowledge, there would always be a group of low-profile dark horses in the city selection every year. Therefore, even if it was a city selection, Wang Lan couldn't let down his guard. On the last day, the 5-man team didn't fight. Instead, they sat together to study their opponents. In the eyes of the 5-man team, apart from the 5 of them, everyone else was an enemy. Duan Ziki and Mu Xiaoyan will definitely be selected. They entered Nebula last semester. Moreover, they're all-round. Whether it's fighting, Takashi Hoshi skills, or tactical thinking, they're all outstanding. Zhuang Haoyan will also be selected. I heard that he broke through Nebula during the winter break. His strength is above mine and Feiyu's. This time, out of the 500 students in the school, 80 of them signed up. Among them, 8 are above Nebula, 30 are at the peak of star glory, and the rest are all at the late stage. As for the middle stage, there's only one. Su Xiangwen finished speaking and looked at CSCC mockingly. Many students are discussing where squad leader Xie's courage comes from. When the time comes, CC, use your invincible status to scare them to death. From the preliminary information we've collected, the quality of this year's selection is clearly much higher than previous years. In previous years, there were at most 1 or 2 nebula in each selection. However, there are actually 8 this year. What's even worse is that not only is our Sioux city's quality high this year, but the other city's quality is also the best in the past decade. It's really weird. Has the golden age come to claim it? Maybe the foundation that has been accumulated for 70 years after the war is finally starting to fully erupt. The elites of this year's selection aren't the best. The next batch and this year's first year won't be simple either. No matter what, out of the 5 of us, apart from me, the 4 of you aren't 100% guaranteed to make it to the top 10, especially Cici, Xiangwen, and Feiyu. Xinyu, why isn't it Wang Lan? Su Xiangwen suddenly felt indignant. I'm a nebula after all. That's not the same. Wang Lan has mastered the compound Takashi Hoshi technique. His combat power isn't any lower than a nebulous. As long as Wang Lan shows his strength in the competition, he won't be treated as a pushover in the later rounds. However, there are 2 or even 3 or 4 nebula strength that are similar to yours. If other nebulas are eliminated by me in the preliminaries, you'll definitely be chosen for the next round. Once you're defeated, you'll only have 1 chance to challenge again. Therefore, you can't lose the preliminaries. That way, even if you're defeated, you'll still have another chance to challenge. Understood? Chapter 177. Although it was only a selection in the city, it was still an important annual event for Sioux City Yizhong. On Monday, all 3 grades in the Takashi Hoshi campus were suspended. Students from grade 1 to grade 3 gathered in the stands of the sports field early in the morning. The campus next door held an autumn sports meet every autumn. In the Takashi Hoshi campus, the annual provincial martial arts competition in spring was held as grand as the autumn sports meet. The opening ceremony and the opening performance were all held. Of course, the opening performance was performed by the students from the ordinary campus next door. This was also one of the few opportunities for students from the neighboring campus to come to the Takashi Hoshi campus. In grade 3, at the age of 16 or 17, a child's mind gradually matured. Whether it was hospitality or youthful outbursts, the female students who came to perform were always surrounded by a group of Takashi Hoshi students who were eager to please them. They were busy handing out water and snacks, exchanging phone numbers, and exchanging QQ numbers. As the star of both campuses, Wang Lan was naturally the focus of attention on both campuses. After a while, a fangirl from next door came to greet him. After a while, a former friend came to give him a long-awaited hug. Lanzi, did you know that I was so lonely without you in that semester? The class monitor of grade 3 class 1, with exquisite makeup, rushed to Wang Lan and complained about her lovesickness. Under the scrutinizing gaze of Jiang Xinyu and Xie, Wang Lan only felt a chill on his back. Class monitor Chiu, I didn't feel that you were so affectionate toward me back then. Every time I quietly approached you and talked to you, you basically rolled your eyes at me and told me to get lost. I didn't feel anything when I saw you every day back then. But after you left, I finally realized how difficult it was for you all these years. The feeling of being alone is really too good. Hi. Sure enough, the class monitor was still the same class monitor. Even with makeup, her beauty couldn't hide her compelling temperament. The sudden change in her aura made Su Xiangwen spit out a rainbow of salt soda. How are the brothers in the class? Wang Lan asked with a bright smile. Good, very good. You don't know this, but when they found out that you had awakened Takashi Hoshi's innate talent and went to the Takashi Hoshi campus, other than Abbess Miju, who was sad, Everyone else in the class was happy, especially the guy who posted it. He recited a poem on the spot, and it was truly a masterpiece. You finally found your conscience and stopped harming us. For this reason, we even held a private farewell party. Why didn't I know? How can I tell you? What if you can't bear to leave and come back? Wuching, Wang Lan clutched his chest with a pained expression. By the way, what's class rep Chiu going to perform later? Su Xiangwen asked. Guzheng, when I play the piano, the junior girls in the second year of high school dance. The dancers who accompany me are all peerless beauties. Do you want me to introduce a few to you? Sure. Cough, cough. After the headmaster's passionate speech, the opening ceremony began. There was a saying in Jianghu that experts were among the common folk. Actually, it should be said that experts were on campus. Especially in Sioux City, Yizhong, there were many hidden dragons and crouching tigers. Perhaps, as an unknown person, he could be the successor of some intangible heritage. An ordinary person could have reached the level of a professional singer. Street dance, cool and elegant. A Guzheng song, shocking the hearts of people. The atmosphere of the scene was instantly pushed to the peak by a few popular programs. The provincial martial arts competition, Sioux City's representative team selection, officially began. Only 80 people signed up, but they still had to go through 4 rounds of selection, 3 rounds of preliminaries, and the 4th round of challenges, which was divided into 2 days. In the middle of the field, the names of the 2 sides would be drawn on a huge electronic screen. The first round would have 40 matches, and there was only half a day in the morning. Therefore, the field was divided into 2 arenas, and both arenas would be held at the same time. The competition officially began. The first match between the 2 arenas was played out under the eyes of tens of thousands of people. Hearing waves of screams and exclamations from the stands, Wang Lan's expression gradually became more and more strange. Was this the true level of the third-year students? It couldn't be compared to the Takashi Hoshi tournament. Although the star power level might not be below the Takashi Hoshi tournament, the difference in battle awareness and battle experience was not just a little bit. If the Star Martial Arts Tournament was said to be fake, then the 2 matches in front of him were even more fake than the fake moves, like the scene of a car accident. Although they fought very seriously and didn't fake it, they frequently made mistakes. With this level of skill, they still dared to sign up? Wang Lan could only say in his heart that their courage was commendable. Most of the exclamations in the stands were made by the students from the neighboring campus who came to perform. For them, being able to see the Takashi Hoshi fight in person was worth shouting. This was what Wang Lan thought. Next match, CSCC against Song Ting. The match will take place in arena number 1. CSCC stood up and strode towards the arena. Song Ting? That name sounds familiar, Wang Lan said softly as he rubbed his chin. Isn't it the Commoners' Genius Society's 12 Warriors? The Commoners' Genius Society, founded by Duan Ziki, has gained over 100 members in the past 3 years. The 12 core members are called the 12 Warriors. What's their name again? Clouds in the sky, frost on the ground. Invincible in the 3rd year, the 12 Warriors. Today is the day to verify the bubble title of the past 3 years. After being praised for 3 years, I wonder how many of them will make it into the 10-person team? What clouds in the sky and frost on the ground? Class monitor Chiu sat beside Wang Lan and asked curiously in a down jacket. The clouds in the sky refer to Mu Xiaoyun, and the frost on the ground refers to our Ice Queen, Su Xiangwen said with a sneer. As expected, a tree without bark will die, and a shameless person is invincible. Class monitor Chiu had heard of Mu Xiaoyun and Jiang Xinyu from the neighboring campus, but the 12 Warriors? He had never heard of them. Moreover, as a friend of Wang Lan and the others, he had to take a clear stand. Song Ting, cloudless sky. Thunderous, Song Ting, attack. On the other side of the stands, a wave of love-struck screams came like a tsunami. It seemed that other than Class 1, the other classes had been thoroughly brainwashed by the Commoners' Genius Society. Song Ting's figure turned into a thunderbolt and appeared on the field. His appearance once again caused a wave of love-struck screams. When the other experts saw this scene, Most of them twitched their mouths in disdain. Using Takashi Hoshi to enter the field, was a star energy free? Wasting star energy like this just to act cool. How childish. Song Ting gently extended a finger, and the cheers on the other side of the stand stopped abruptly. He thought his action was cool, but all the teachers shook their heads. CSCC, right? In a short 3 months, you were able to rise from the 150th place to the top 10. How did you cheat? But it doesn't matter. I will use 30 seconds to reveal your true colors. Teacher, can we start now? CSCC's expression was calm and unmoved. She quietly stood in place without moving. Start. The moment her voice fell, CSCC's figure turned into a sharp arrow and shot out. CSCC herself specialized in close combat. Even though she had learned 3 Takashi Hoshi techniques, her focus was still close combat. At least in Star Blazing, that was the case. These days, Wang Lan had focused on training CSCC's close combat skills. So CSCC's dash was extremely fast. With such a fast dash, let alone Song Ting, even the referee was slightly stunned. By the time Song Ting reacted, CSCC had already dashed half the distance. In a hurry, Song Ting's body flashed with lightning, and a thunderbolt shot out from his palm. Thunder palm, CSCC's figure flashed, and she instantly dodged the thunderbolt attack, and once again dashed half the distance. Thunder Needle Rain. Song Ting's expression finally changed. He didn't hesitate to use a huge amount of star power to cast a Takashi Hoshi technique. Countless thunderbolts formed a thunder needle and shot out from Song Ting's mouth. Water Bullet Steel Cannon. Star power formed a transparent circle in front of CSCC, like a magic circle. A water bullet was instantly shot out from the circle, fiercely passing through Song Ting's thunder needle and clearing a safe path for CSCC. How is this possible? She can still run quickly while using Takashi Hoshi? Song Ting subconsciously let out a cry of surprise. This cry of surprise directly made Wang Lan laugh. She can't move while using Takashi Hoshi? Even if she didn't have a teacher to teach her, she should have seen last year's Takashi Hoshi tournament, right? Even in the preliminaries, quickly dodging and dashing while using Takashi Hoshi were basic operations, right? Moving while using Takashi Hoshi would indeed affect the performance of Takashi Hoshi. This was just like using your hands to do something else while you were thinking, which would cause you to be distracted. But using Takashi Hoshi in a high-frequency battle was a skill that Takashi Hoshi had to master. If she couldn't even do this, the 12 warriors would be a joke in the end. While Song Ting was crying out in surprise, CSCC had successfully dashed 5 steps in front of Song Ting. When CSCC dashed to this distance, even Su Xiangwen could be instantly killed by CSCC, let alone Song Ting. In an instant, CSCC's figure seemed to turn into mist, and a series of afterimages appeared in front of Song Ting. Then, there was a storm of attacks. The scene was too brutal, so it wasn't convenient to describe in detail. In any case, after a full 20 seconds, CSCC stopped as if she had grasped the right moment. From a start until now, including the 10 seconds of dashing, the remaining 20 seconds of beating was a total of 30 seconds. It wasn't a lot, but it wasn't a little either. CSCC turned around and walked towards the stands. Song Ting's face was bruised and swollen, and he was lying on the ground, twitching nonstop. The strong sense of déjà vu made Song Bo shrink his neck slightly, and the corner of his mouth hooked up in schadenfreude. Even after CSCC disappeared from the arena, the spectators' stand were still deathly silent. Song Ting, one of the Commoner Genius Society's 12 warriors. Of the 12 warriors, only Mu Xiaoyun was missing. Jiang Xinyu was a first-rate expert, but he was defeated in 30 seconds by someone who had suddenly risen up and who everyone thought had cheated. Was CSCC really that talented? Or was the 12 warriors just a bubble? Even if CSCC really did have that kind of talent, didn't the Commoner Genius Society claim that other than Jiang Xinyu, they were invincible in the 3rd year of high school? This scene made countless students who had once praised and believed in the Commoner Genius Society doubt the Commoner Genius Society. Could it be that the commoner genius that they had been chasing for 3 years was just a fake genius who looked strong on the outside, but was weak on the inside? Chapter 178. The shock from CSCC's match had not yet dissipated. It was Jiang Sinyu's turn to go on stage. Jiang Sinyu's strength was not surprising. From start to finish, it took less than 3 seconds. A frost deceleration, a freeze control, followed by an ice spirit roar. 2 C-grade Takashi Hoshi skills and 1 B-grade skill were defeated in one wave. The Ice Queen is indeed the Ice Queen. Her battle awareness and rhythm are so fast that people can't react in time, said a mysterious middle-aged man in stands. Principal Yu, how is it? How is the quality of our Sioux City No. 1 middle school this year? Principal Zhang, it's not just Sioux City No. 1 middle school that's high quality. The quality of the students in the 13 cities of Jiang province is several times higher than in previous years. Don't you think it's too early to be proud? Ha. Although that's the case, look again. This year, there might be 1 or 2 champions. Oh, it seems that Principal Zhang is not only confident, but also a little arrogant. On the huge screen, the list of matches was flipped open again. Grade 12 Class 1 Wang Lan versus Grade 12 Class 3 Zhuang Haoyan. Wow, it can't be. Grade 12 Strongest Star Blazer is up against Nebula's Zhuang Haoyan. There are only 8 Nebula in our Grade 12 class. Other than Mu Xiaoyun, who took half a month off from school, there are 7. The 10-person team will definitely have 3-star blazing experts. With Wang Lan's strength, he's invincible below the Nebula stage. I didn't expect him to meet Zhuang Haoyan in the first round. When this match appeared, even Principal Zhang's face showed astonishment. Wasn't the order of matches manipulated? Who changed the rules of the competition? The 10-man representative team had already been decided internally. Originally, there would not be such a situation where neither side would be willing to give an inch. Thinking of this, Principal Zhang stood up and ran backstage to see what was happening. Zhuang Haoyan had already entered the arena. Wang Lan also stood up. Wang Lan, are you confident? When he walked past Jiang Xinyu suddenly asked. It's not a big problem. Wang Lan smiled. He had no problem dealing with the average Nebula. Zhuang Haoyan, like Su Xiangwen and Gong Feiyu, had broken through to Nebula during the winter break. Wang Lan was 80% sure that he could defeat Gong Feiyu and Su Xiangwen. Naturally, he was confident that he could defeat Zhuang Haoyan. Zhuang Haoyan's gaze shot over like a sharp arrow when he arrived at the arena. Wang Lan, you transferred from a neighboring campus to Takashi Hoshi campus in your 3rd year of high school. In less than a year, you've been doing very well in the Takashi Hoshi campus. But I don't believe it. How can someone who awakened Takashi Hoshi less than a year ago be such a genius? Those people from the Commoner Trash Club at least know how to spend 3 years to package themselves. Are you the real deal, or with just an undeserved reputation? Let me take a good look at you today. I didn't want to. It's all because of my classmates. From your tone, it seems like you want to step on me? Wang Lan smiled bitterly. His rise was too fast. There were many rumors in the Takashi Hoshi campus that Wang Lan was a packaged genius. How could someone who awakened Takashi Hoshi at the age of 16 be a genius? That's not what I meant. It doesn't matter to me whether you're a real genius or a fake one. Stepping on you won't do me any good. Jiang Xinyu has always been my goal. I don't want her to have a stain because of you. After all, Jiang Xinyu is the name card of this year. She represents the honor of Sioux City. I can give you a way out. You can eat something bad today. You can feel uncomfortable. If you have any needs, I can cooperate so that you won't lose too badly. Thank you. Zhuang Haoyan had always been a model student. How should one describe his reputation in school? A gentleman. A gentleman like an orchid. Wang Lan occasionally heard rumors that Zhuang Haoyan seemed to have a crush on Jiang Xinyu. However, Zhuang Haoyan had never taken the initiative to appear in front of Jiang Xinyu. Naturally, this rumor was dispelled. But now, Wang Lan could clearly smell the sour smell of lemons. The two seemed to be talking in private, but every player's words would be transmitted to everyone's ears through the invisible microphone. It wasn't that they didn't respect privacy, but the exchange of words was also a type of tactic. Some people took this conversation seriously, while others smiled knowingly and analyzed the tactical purpose behind the two's words. Even though Takashi Hoshi's level was lower than Wang Lan's, Zhuang Haoyan didn't let his guard down. Before the fight, he tried to provoke Wang Lan with words to break Wang Lan's mentality. Unfortunately, Wang Lan's mentality was as steady as an old dog. Although the exchange of words was only a few words, he successfully diverted Zhuang Haoyan's words with little effort. I only have one request. Please hold on a little longer. Wow, Lanzi is still as domineering as before. Class monitor Chiu clenched his fists and said excitedly, "Is this domineering? This is arrogance, okay? Is he like this in the next school district?" Su Xiangwen asked enthusiastically as he moved closer to class monitor Chiu. "It's okay. It was just a monthly exam. The paper was very difficult. The second place in our class only scored 370, and he scored 440. At that time, many students cried. Who knows how he comforted us? I already let the Pacific Ocean off, but you guys were still so weak. How could I show mercy? Can't you guys be a little more competitive?" At that time, I couldn't hold back either and cried on the table. Su Xiangwen looked at class monitor Chiu sympathetically. "Which time are you talking about?" "I remember now. There was a student in my class who cried too." Su Xiangwen suddenly stopped talking and lowered his head in horror. Under Su Xiangwen's butt, the frozen throne was rapidly forming. Zhuang Haoyan took a deep breath and calmed his wavering heart. "Wang Lan, I hope your strength is as good as your mouth. Begin." Suddenly, the teacher's whistle sounded in the field. Almost instantly, the two figures flashed and sprinted toward each other at the same time. According to the information obtained from Su Xiangwen, Zhuang Haoyan was a Takashi Hoshi with the Thunder attribute. The star power of the Thunder attribute was concentrated, and its explosive speed and power far exceeded that of other attributes. Under normal circumstances, either the attribute was restrained or the realm was suppressed. Otherwise, it would be very difficult to defeat a Thunder attribute Star Warrior in a one-on-one fight. Zhuang Haoyan had mastered 4 types of Thunder attribute Takashi Hoshi skills. 2 of them were the same as Song Ting's, the Thunder Palm and Thunder Dew. The other type was a Thunder attribute active Takashi Hoshi skill that stimulated the nerves and cell activity with Thunder and Lightning to greatly enhance the physical strength, reflexes, and speed. Wang Lan didn't know about the last one because Zhuang Haoyan had never used it before. According to Wang Lan's understanding of Zhuang Haoyan, the Thunder Palm and Thunder Dew would not be the first Takashi Hoshi skills. The Thunder Palm was limited by its attacking conditions, while the Thunder Dew was not powerful and consumed a lot of star power. These 2 Takashi Hoshi skills were not mature Takashi Hoshi skills. Even if they were given to Wang Lan would not learn them. The Thunder attribute active was different. It increased the body's reflexes and speed, which was a very practical Takashi Hoshi skill. The degree of improvement was determined by the degree of stimulation from the Thunder and Lightning. It was the same as Su Xiangwen's pure Yang Dharma power. If Wang Lan were Zhuang Haoyan, he would definitely choose to use the Thunder attribute active to kill his opponent instantly. Therefore, there was a kind of tragedy in that the enemy had already seen through your plan before you even made a move. Wang Lan quickly approached Zhuang Haoyan at the beginning. Whether Zhuang Haoyan used the Thunder attribute active or not, Wang Lan would force him to use it. Once Zhuang Haoyan activated the Thunder attribute active, Wang Lan would not give him a chance to change to the Takashi Hoshi skill. The Thunder attribute active Takashi Hoshi skill was great. It was fast. It was a necessary skill to survive on the battlefield and to kill rookies instantly. At the same time, the Takashi Hoshi skill was completely restrained by Wang Lan's dynamic vision. Zhuang Haoyan's outcome was naturally planned by Wang Lan. Dynamic vision, activate. A golden light instantly appeared above Wang Lan's right eye. Zhuang Haoyan's movements in front of him were slowed down instantly. Zhuang Haoyan did not seem to realize that his movements had been easily captured by Wang Lan. Even the slightest movement could not be hidden from Wang Lan's eyes. Countless pairs of eyes were fixed on the battle between Wang Lan and Zhuang Haoyan. They did not even dare to blink, afraid that they would miss an exciting moment. However, Su Xiangwen suddenly shook his head with a bitter smile. Zhuang Haoyan is going to be killed instantly. How is that possible? Class Monitor Chiu was not a Takashi Hoshi, but she knew the different levels of Takashi Hoshi. Wang Lan was a star blazing, while Zhuang Haoyan was a nebula. There was a difference of one level. Shouldn't Wang Lan be the one to be killed instantly? Although Wang Lan's attribute does not restrain the thunder attribute, Wang Lan can restrain speed. However, Zhuang Haoyan used the thunder attribute to increase his speed. His speed is inferior to mine, his fighting ability is inferior to mine, his star energy is inferior to mine, and his attacks are inferior to mine. Even I was beaten up by Wang Lan. How can Zhuang Haoyan not lose? Su Xiangwen, doesn't Zhuang Haoyan have another hidden trump card? That powerful Takashi Hoshi skill? CSCC asked nervously. Yes, but he needs to have a chance to use it, right? Zhuang Haoyan laughed when he saw Wang Lan charging at him. You dare to fight me in close combat when I'm activating the thunder attribute? You really don't know what death means. As soon as this thought popped up in his mind, he punched Wang Lan's head. At the same time, Wang Lan gently raised his left hand, and a bright red solar halo appeared. Needless to say, Zhuang Haoyan's heart skipped a beat when the solar halo spun at a high speed and released a terrifying cutting force. He hurriedly retracted his fist, and with his extraordinary reflexes, he quickly changed his move and kicked at Wang Lan's lower back. However, the moment he lifted his leg, Wang Lan had already turned around and punched at a strange angle, avoiding the mark of his whip kick and penetrating his chest. This punch came when Zhuang Haoyan was still exerting force and had yet to stabilize his footing. It was impossible to dodge, and it was too late to block. Even if he used another defensive Takashi Hoshi skill, the time difference between Takashi Hoshi and the change of the skill would not allow him to complete the change before the punch arrived. This punch was a hopeless situation. Zhuang Haoyan gritted his teeth. Isn't it just a punch? Zhuang Haoyan, have been practicing Takashi Hoshi for 10 years, and I've suffered many punches from old men. This kind of light punch is not a threat to me at all. Wait till I get through this. I'll show you, wretch. At that moment, an unimaginable force surged into his stomach and into his organs. It was like an electric current was flowing into his limbs and bones. Vaguely, Zhuang Haoyan heard something about 1-inch punch. The scene froze. In everyone's eyes, the scene seemed to have skipped a frame. Clearly, the two people rushed together quickly, but in less than a second, the two people's figures had been fixed. Wang Lan and Zhuang Haoyan's movements were frozen. Zhuang Haoyan's eyes almost popped out of their sockets, and the whites of his eyes were bloodshot. A strong stench assaulted him. Wang Lan's expression changed drastically, and he instantly retreated 3 meters. Zhuang Haoyan, who had lost his support, fell to the ground stiffly. Chapter 179. Medical staff, quick! Medical staff, the referee shouted as he rushed to Zhuang Haoyan's side. What's that smell? Why is it so smelly? Wang Lan, you didn't do anything to him, did you? No. Teacher, I know what I'm doing. Maybe his stomach wasn't feeling well, so I punched him and accidentally dragged him down. PFFF. The referee instantly stood up and took a step back. Grade 12 Class 1 Wang Lan wins. Successfully completed the first round of Sioux City's team preliminaries. Reward: 1,000 EXP, 30 skill points. A notification sounded in his mind. Wang Lan bowed to the referee in gratitude, then turned around and walked towards the stands. At this moment, there were some scattered cries of surprise in the stands. F*CK. What did I just see? Zhuang Haoyan was insta-killed? I swear, I didn't even blink. I didn't even understand what happened. And Zhuang Haoyan fell? Don't say I didn't understand. I still don't understand. How did Zhuang Haoyan fall? Isn't he Nebula? A Nebula Realm Cultivator was actually defeated by a Star Glory Realm Cultivator in a single move? Now I have reason to doubt whether Zhuang Haoyan is Nebula or not. Zhuang Haoyan is Nebula, that's for sure, but Wanglan Star Blazing is a mutant. Is that really Star Blazing? Star Blazing insta-killed Nebula? Maybe Wang Lan was Nebula a long time ago. Come, Aching, you're also Star Blazing. Tell me, is that something Star Blazing would do? F***CK off? I didn't even understand what happened. I might be a fake Star Blazing. This match had started so unexpectedly and ended so unexpectedly. Even though the new match had already begun, the audience was still discussing it enthusiastically. Student Wang Lan, who is known as the strongest Star Blazing in Sioux City No. 1 Middle School. What realm was he in? The Star Blazing that could one-shot Nebula? If it hadn't happened right in front of their eyes, who would dare to believe it? Principal Zhang returned from backstage. Just as he returned to his seat, the competition ended. Principal Zhang thought that he had been gone for a few minutes, but when he looked at his watch, he realized that he had only been gone for less than 5 minutes. Principal Yu, why do you look so serious? Principal Zhang, I'm starting to admit that there are many crouching tigers and hidden dragons in this year's cohort. What's the family background of that Wang Lan? What happened? A peerless genius who mastered the compound Takashi Hoshi technique in Star Blazing. Such a genius would at least reach the galaxy grade in the future. That young genius, Zhuang Haoyan, did not lose unjustly. Reaching Nebula in the 3rd year of high school was indeed worthy of being called a genius. But let's not talk about the whole country, just the entire province. There are no less than 50 3rd-year Nebula students. But to be able to master the compound Takashi Hoshi technique in Star Blazing, there are only a few geniuses in the whole country. Haha, is that so? To be able to make Principal Yu take back his words, that's really rare. Principal Zhang's face was full of smiles, but he was already dumbfounded. What did you say? Extraterrestrial language? A student who mastered the compound Takashi Hoshi technique in Star Blazing technique? At my school? I didn't even know about it. Haha, I must have seen wrongly. Haha, right. You left just now because originally the seeded contestants chosen by our school wouldn't meet in the preliminary round, but I didn't expect Zhuang Haoyan and Wang Lan to meet in the first round. Sigh, I was careless, and a student got into trouble. He hasn't reported to school yet. So I removed his name from the list, and after his name was removed, the original list was misplaced. So, now that Wang Lan and Zhuang Haoyan are fighting, the rest of the list is messed up. I told the backstage to rearrange the list urgently. This was originally the default routine of each school, and both principals were well aware of it, so there was no need to hide it. Sure enough, dark horses appeared one after another in the later rounds of the competition. People who didn't usually perform well in school suddenly became famous on the battlefield. But no matter how amazing they were, they still couldn't surpass Wang Lan's feat of defeating a Nebula as Star Blazing. In half a day, the first and second rounds of the competition were completed. Wang Lan's 5-person team all successfully entered the 3rd round of the competition. Especially CSCC. Her luck was really good, and she didn't meet a strong opponent for 2 rounds in a row. On the other hand, the Commoners' Genius Society, which the school had high hopes for, had been praised for 3 years, saying that they were all elites, and that any one of the 12 warriors had the qualifications to represent Sioux City in the provincial tournament. But the results were very touching. After 2 rounds, only 3 of the 12 warriors, including the president, Duan Ziki, entered the 3rd round. The remaining 2 had little hope of making it into the top 10. No matter how strong they were praised, once they went on the battlefield, they were just paper wrapped gold. And those rich kids who had been slandered by the Commoners' Genius Society for 3 years felt happy at this moment. Weren't rich kids just rich? Strength was piled up with money, and without money, you were all disabled, idiots. Haha, but your uncle is still your uncle. Didn't you also not enter the 3rd round? Sorry, I successfully took down one of the 12 warriors in the 1st round. If you work hard, You can indeed catch up to rich kids with resources, but you should work hard, right? They were both commoners, but CSCC was able to surpass all difficulties. The so-called Commoners' Genius Society was a joke in front of CSCC. After the first day of the school selection, the school's announcement forum was overturned. The Commoners' Genius Society also had a new name. It was called the Commoners' Joke Society. At 5 o'clock, school ended on time. Wang Lan carried his backpack and walked home along the road after school. His mind was immersed in the system. His character was 8 stars, and his progress was around 75%. Today, he had entered 2 rounds and gained 3,000 experience. According to this progress, he might really need to become the champion of the provincial tournament to reach Nebula. But if he couldn't break through to Nebula, could he become the champion? This was a realistic question. Although he had mastered the combination of the Crescent Moon Arrow and Flame Blade, he was not weaker than a normal Nebula. But every year, there would be many abnormal Nebula in the provincial tournament. In the past, the provincial tournament was not open to the public, so there was very little information available. But Wang Lan had collected some information. It could be said that every year, there would be some abnormal contestants who looked normal. They either had a powerful bloodline talent or abnormal strength. Against this kind of Nebula, Wang Lan had no chance of winning. Now, Wang Lan had 2 paths in front of him. He could either learn an A-rank lightning-type Takashi Hoshi skill and successfully combine it with another A-rank Takashi Hoshi skill, or he could break through to Nebula and upgrade the skill to the gold rank. It had been half a month. Why was there still no news from the Takashi Hoshi Club? Wang Lan took out his phone and logged into the Takashi Hoshi Club's online store. In the Takashi Hoshi skill store, there were only a few B-rank Takashi Hoshi skills lying there. There was still not a single A-rank Takashi Hoshi skill. With skill points, Wang Lan could indeed upgrade a low-level Takashi Hoshi skill to a high-level one, but the growth rate was too low. Just like the E-rank Takashi Hoshi skill that Wang Lan had mastered, upgrading it to the bronze rank would still result in a F*King increase in power output. It would just increase the power output by a few times. What was the use of that? Even if it was upgraded to the gold rank, it would probably only be able to maintain the power supply of a small district. A humanoid generator? It was not a big deal to say that it was completely useless. At least this Takashi Hoshi skill had a sure kill skill, which was the self-destruction of electricity. Yes, in an instant, electricity would gather and expand in the body, and then explode in an instant. The higher the cultivation, the greater the power of the explosion. I'm not F*King Deidara. Art is not self-destruction. Assistance in destroying the cross-border Takashi Hoshi drug gang. Reward, 20,000 experience points, 800 skill points. Suddenly, a notification sound rang in his mind. Wang Lan was so shocked that he almost dropped the phone in his hand. This notification made Wang Lan dumbfounded. I didn't F*King do anything. Upgrading from Star Brilliance 8 to Star Brilliance 9 required 80,000 experience points. Originally, he was only 70% away, but in an instant, it was pushed to 90%. Seeing this progress bar, Wang Lan was both happy and in disbelief. I helped. When did I help? Immediately, Wang Lan logged into the Heavenly Sword Bureau's official website and entered the Intelligence Department's page. Sure enough, there was a new announcement in the Intelligence Department. It should be considered good news. Jean City Heavenly Sword Bureau Headquarters. Based on the information of the Takashi Hoshi drug gang that was uncovered in Sioux City after a month and a half of planning, the net was successfully closed. A drug network that spread across nearly 3 provinces and 17 cities was successfully captured. 32 Takashi Hoshi drug gang members were arrested, and the remaining 112 normal drug dealers were arrested. It seemed that Yifeng's team was only a small part of the entire group. This was a big case, and a big case that caused the entire country to be on alert, because this drug gang was led by Takashi Hoshi. This was unprecedented. The country's control over Takashi Hoshi was very strict. Unless the Takashi Hoshi were not registered in the first place, it was very difficult for Takashi Hoshi to avoid surveillance and carry out criminal activities. In recent years, there have been many cases of Takashi Hoshi escaping the control of the country. After knowing the whole story, Wang Lan put the reward in his pocket with peace of mind. He didn't care about what the country's policies on Takashi Hoshi would be in the future. This wasn't something that Wang Lan should be thinking about right now. What he should be thinking about now was whether or not he should break through to Star Glory Level 9 in the next round. He still needed more than 90,000 experience points. The delicate Nebula was in front of him. He really wanted to get on her. March 15th, sunny. Today's temperature was 5 degrees higher than yesterday's. Wang Lan carried his backpack and walked out of the house. Maybe it was because the temperature was getting hotter, but along the way, Wang Lan saw many city beauties who were more resistant to the cold than ordinary people. They had already changed out of their long coats and put on short skirts that could be seen everywhere in summer. Was it almost the annual season of squatting on the bus stop? Wang Lan looked at the bus window that was almost deformed from the stuffing. He decisively turned around and walked toward the school. Wang Lan was only 1.5 kilometers away from the school. He passed by Xinghai Community Park. There was still an hour before school started, so there was plenty of time. Wang Lan walked slowly and unhurriedly. From time to time, he could hear the laughter of his classmates walking to school. Suddenly, Wang Lan stopped in his tracks. There were 3 police cars parked at the intersection of the forest park. The park's periphery was also cordoned off. Outside the cordon, a dozen or so old men who had undergone early training were fiercely arguing about something with spittle flying everywhere. Is there a case? Wang Lan thought to himself. Just as he was about to continue walking to school, he suddenly stopped in his tracks again. The one who died seems to be a third-year student from No. 1 Middle School. He was wearing No. 1 Middle School's uniform. What's a student from No. 1 Middle School doing here in the middle of the night instead of staying at home? Who knows? The guards are already here. They're probably waiting for the superintendent to solve the case. Wang Lan knew all the third-year students from No. 1 Middle School, whether it was the ordinary neighborhood or the Takashi Hoshi campus. Even if he couldn't call out their names, he could still recognize their faces. Wang Lan turned around. His figure flashed past the cordon and walked inside. Chapter 180. The victim is 17 years old, a senior high school student from Sushurizhong. The time of death was between 11 p.m. and 12 p.m. last night. The fatal wound was a penetrating wound in the chest. The size of the wound is similar to the size of the penetrating wound. It doesn't look like a gunshot wound. A guard whispered to the leader of the plainclothes team. Look around. Are there any other clues? Captain Joe, we found something. This student might be a Takashi Hoshi student. We found scratches on the rock. This child should have been training here last night. He was attacked from behind and fell into the pool. Could it be a student from Takashi Hoshi campus? Yes. Wang Lan's low voice sounded as soon as Captain Zhou's question landed. When Wang Lan arrived at the scene and saw the face under the white cloth, Wang Lan had already recognized the identity of the victim. Su Donghai, a senior high school student from Class 8, was also one of the 12 warriors of the Commoner Genius Society and was at the peak of star blazing. Wang Lan had noticed Su Donghai's 2 rounds yesterday. Su Donghai's basic skills were very solid. Although it was impossible for him to become Wang Lan's rival, he was worthy of Wang Lan's praise. Su Donghai had successfully entered the 3rd round yesterday. Who would have thought that he would die here before the 3rd round began? Who are you? How did you get in? The moment Captain Zhou saw Wang Lan, the first thing he thought of was not to ask about Su Donghai's identity, but to scold Wang Lan for crossing the barrier to get to the scene. This person is my classmate, a senior high school student from Takashi Hoshi campus, Class 8. His name is Su Donghai. I'm asking if you know the victim. I'm asking who you are. What are you doing here? I was going to school, but on the way, Wang Lan, why are you here? A voice interrupted Wang Lan's words. Looking back, Hu Qing walked over with 3 people. Inspector Hu, why are you here? According to the report, the victim's identity is not simple. He is a student of Sioux City No. 1 Middle School, so the director sent me to take over the case. Hu Qing said as he handed Captain Zhou a cigarette. The murder of a high school student would have a huge impact on society. It would definitely attract the attention of all parties. And now, if he was still a Takashi Hoshi high school student, the impact would be even greater. In terms of experience, Hu Qing was indeed not as good as Captain Zhou, but in terms of rank, Hu Qing was one level higher than Captain Zhou. Hu Qing was promoted again because of Brother Hay's case. Ordinary superintendents were promoted much faster than the Heavenly Sword Bureau. Of course, the benefits were also different. Hearing that Hu Qing wanted to take over the case, Captain Zhou's face darkened slightly, but he didn't overreact. Instead, he looked deeply at Hu Qing. Since it's related to Takashi Hoshi, it's only right for Inspector Hu to take over. But Inspector Hu seems to be very familiar with this student. Yes, he is my friend. He is also a student of Sioux City No. 1 Middle School's Takashi Hoshi campus. Although Wang Lan publicly showed his Heavenly Sword Bureau ID in front of the superintendent, Captain Zhou was on vacation at that time and didn't know about it. Although he heard about it later, he just treated it as a story and didn't know what Wang Lan looked like. Hu Qing also didn't want to talk about Wang Lan's Heavenly Sword Bureau identity if it wasn't necessary. So when he introduced him, he didn't use the title Elite Sky Sword Captain Su. Then I'm afraid Captain Hu needs to avoid suspicion. As soon as these words came out, Hu Qing's face changed instantly. Wang Lan didn't show any anger on his face. Instead, he looked at Captain Zhou curiously. "Officer, are you suspecting me? You are now one of my suspects. Is there a reason?" "The reason is that your appearance is very unusual. As a student, you shouldn't be here. Moreover, as a student, you didn't show the slightest panic when you saw the body. As a student, even if you are a Takashi Hoshi student, your performance is too calm, and too mature. This is not the performance of a 16 or 17-year-old student, unless you have practiced all of this or you have received professional training. Either way, I should suspect you. Wang Lan can't be the murderer." Hu Qing shook his head and said after listening, "Inspector Hu, as a superintendent, we must not be emotional. I know that Takashi Hoshi has the so-called burden of brotherhood, but the suspicion on this student can't be ignored. Captain Zhou, the information has been collected and sent to your mobile phone." At this time, a female guard with glasses and a notebook in her hand ran over and whispered, "Inspector Hu, this is Duo, Jade State's top network security expert and a world-class hacker." Captain Zhou introduced her to Hu Qing. "Inspector Hu, I've heard a lot about you, but I haven't had the chance to meet you." Duo smiled and stretched out her hand. "Nice to meet you." Ding dong. Wang Lan's mobile phone rang at the same time. Wang Lan picked up the phone and saw a push message. "Student Wang Lan, a bad person tried to hack into your computer, but I beat them away. Did I do well?" The message was followed by an emoticon of a well-behaved dog. Unsurprisingly, the person who tried to hack into his computer was most likely the intellectual beauty in front of him. Captain Zhou quickly flipped through his mobile phone, and soon, a smile appeared on his face. "It seems that my suspicions are getting more and more accurate." Captain Zhou put the phone in front of Hu Qing. "You are Wang Lan, a student of Sioux City's Takashi Hoshi campus, grade 12 class 1. This is Su Donghai, a student of grade 12 class 8. I seem to have already said that." Wang Lan was speechless. Does Captain Zhou only listen to what he wants to hear? Or was I not clear enough? "But you didn't say that your school is holding an internal selection for the province's martial arts competition. You and Su Donghai both successfully entered the third round, which is the last round of the competition. Su Donghai will most likely face you this morning. In order to win, you have the motive to kill him. You live in the Sinew Building, right? The Sinew Building is less than a kilometer away from Shanghai Park. It is your activity area. This morning, we received a report from a person and came here to handle the case. The person who made the report is very suspicious. He used a public phone to report to the superintendent. Although he used a voice changer, according to the analysis of the voice lines, this person's age is between 16 and 18 years old. I think that the person who made the report is very likely to commit the crime. And you came to the scene very quickly. With so many reasons, is it enough for me to suspect you? Captain Zhou looked at Wang Lan with a sharp gaze and the corner of his mouth slightly raised. It's not just these, Duo suddenly said. She opened her laptop and played a video file. In the video, it was the scene when Wang Lan had stopped Lu Kuang. With a crescent moon arrow, he had directly shot the escort vehicle over. Captain Zhou, Inspector Hu, the fatal wound on the victim's body was not caused by a bullet. Therefore, I suspect that it was an arrow-type weapon. However, an arrow-type weapon would not be able to cause such great damage. However, this video gave us another important clue. To be able to pierce through the victim and leave a hole 20 centimeters deep in the rock, your Takashi Hoshi technique is very suitable for this. After Duo finished speaking, Captain Zhou was not the only one who looked at Wang Lan mockingly. Even Hu Qing looked at Wang Lan suspiciously. However, Hu Qing's gaze was not one of suspicion, but of inquiry. He was asking if Wang Lan had any evidence to prove that he was not at the scene. Wang Lan touched his chin and nodded. It seems that the murderer knows me. If the other conditions are coincidental, the wound on Su Donghai's body is indeed very similar to the wound caused by the crescent moon arrow. However, Captain Zhou, did you notice Su Donghai's socks? Socks. Captain Zhou quickly looked at the victim's exposed feet. In the middle of Su Donghai's socks and shoes, there was a patch of green. Captain Zhou quickly took out a pair of tweezers and took out the green patch. It was a blade of grass. This is the leaf of a four-leaf clover. Four-leaf clover represents luck. This kind of grass is not found everywhere. Although the greenery in Xinghai Park is done well, there is no four-leaf clover in my memory. At least, there is no four-leaf clover in the area where the victim died. This means that the victim's first scene of death might not be here. If there is no four-leaf clover in the entire Xinghai Park, his first scene of death might not be Xinghai Park. Secondly, it is true that we held the school selection this morning. However, if you say that I was worried that he would become my competitor and had the motive to kill him, this reasoning is not valid at all. Even if I gave him a handicap of one arm and two legs, he could not possibly be my competitor. It would be easy for me to defeat him. Brother Hu, I am afraid that this case requires the involvement of the Heavenly Sword Bureau. Yes, I will contact the Heavenly Sword Bureau. Wang Lan nodded and turned to leave. Stop! Captain Zhou suddenly shouted. Even if you have a reason to refute my reasoning, you have to cooperate with the police investigation before you are completely eliminated as a suspect. Therefore, you cannot leave. Captain Zhou, have you ever thought that this is the motive of the murderer? Wang Lan turned his face slightly and asked with a smile. What do you mean? If this is not the first scene of the crime, why would the murderer move the body to Xinghai Park, which is less than a kilometer away from my house, and set up the scene here? There are many old men exercising in Xinghai Park every morning. It is not difficult to find a body. But why would the murderer call the police at this time? Isn't this deliberately exposing information? Isn't the murderer's motive to deliberately tell you the conditions to narrow down the range, which is between the ages of 16 and 18? Plus, the fatal wound is similar to my crescent arrow. Isn't the murderer's motive to frame me? Also, Xinghai Park is the route I have to pass by every day to go to school. On my way to school, you have already been involved in the investigation. It is very likely that I will come in to take a look out of curiosity and fall into your line of sight. This way, I will be delayed by you and miss today's selection. As long as you delay me for a day, the murderer's motive will be achieved. The murderer's plan is very detailed. Unfortunately, he missed one thing. What? I'm not an ordinary high school student. Wang Lan's expression was indifferent as she slowly said this sentence that was incomparably childish. After receiving Wang Lan's hint, Hu Qing smiled faintly and took a step forward to stand in front of Captain Zhou. Captain Zhou, the reason why I'm so sure that Wang Lan is not the murderer is not because of my emotions, but because Wang Lan is indeed impossible. Other than being a senior high school student in Takashi Hoshi, he is also an elite captain of the Heavenly Sword Bureau. Captain Zhou's expression suddenly changed. He looked at Wang Lan blankly and took a deep breath. That's impossible, right? Heavenly Sword Bureau? And a captain? I could tell you responsibly that he is. Captain Zhou could not help but want to say that he was heartless. Chapter 181. On the field of the Takashi Hoshi campus, the performance on stage was even more exciting than yesterday. The audience in the stands screamed from time to time. These students often went to watch live performances. In a corner of the stands, in the preparation area for the third round, Jiang Xinyu frowned and put down the phone, her fingers pressing the phone screen. He's not picking up the phone, he's not picking up the phone. He's not picking up the phone at this time. Could something have happened to him? How could it be? Su Xiangwen quickly shook his head. Xinyu, don't worry. Did you forget that Lan Zi has a phoenix form? Even if something happens, he'll be fine. Maybe, after winning yesterday, he was too excited and couldn't sleep at night. He overslept this morning. Did you oversleep? Jiang Xinyu looked coldly at Su Xiangwen. No, I woke up at 5. Even you didn't oversleep. How could Wang Lan oversleep? Since first grade, Wang Lan has always arrived at school half an hour early. He's never been late. Jiang Xinyu's words made Su Xiangwen's face change. Wang Lan's steady operation had a very small chance of making a mistake. Especially on such an important day, there was no reason for him to be late. Could something have happened? In the preparation area, the 20 contestants for today's competition were sitting. Other than Wang Lan, who Jiang Xinyu was worried about, Su Donghai did not appear, which made it seem like no one cared. Ziki, I can't get through to his phone. Shui Miao whispered into Duan Ziki's ear. Why can't you get through to his phone? Donghai's phone. He hasn't come yet. It's not that he didn't pick up, it's just that it's not in the service area. Didn't he leave the club a week ago? He's not our brother anymore. Why do you care about him? After all, we've been brothers for 3 years. Is our friendship over just like that? Shui Miao frowned slightly, seemingly dissatisfied with Duan Ziki's indifference. Friendship? If people's hearts are gone, our friendship will naturally be gone. Did you forget what he said before he left the club? His current achievements were all due to his own hard work, and it had nothing to do with the club. The aim of the club is that through hard work, we can also surpass those rich and powerful students who have abundant resources. It's natural to work hard. If you don't work hard, you're just a salted fish. But without me finding jobs for him, would he be able to earn 1 or 2 million a year? Could he afford a soul orb? Without the support of the club, what was the point of his hard work? You're about to graduate, and you're already thinking about going solo? Is such an ingrate worthy of being our brother? Shui Miao sighed softly and slowly put down her phone. At this moment, Lu Jie walked over with a name list in his arms. Since yesterday, Lu Jie's walking pace had become unrecognizable. After 2 rounds, there were 7 students in his class who made it to the top 20. What kind of concept was this? Among the 30th grade classes, his class outshone the others. Although the first class had always been the most outstanding class, they paid attention to balance when they divided the classes. Overall, the first class was only slightly better than the other classes. However, Lu Jie felt that he deserved the most credit for bringing a slightly better class to a standout class. So when the dust fell in the second round yesterday, Lu Jie's footsteps were obviously slippery. Takashi Hoshi from the other classes saw this and gritted his teeth in anger. Have the 20 contestants arrived for the third round? Lu Jie's eyes casually swept over and asked. In Lu Jie's heart, this question was bullshit. Who would be late for such a crucial third round of preliminaries? If it were 20 or 30 years ago, he would have had the opportunity to arrive on time, even if he didn't sleep the whole night. But the moment his eyes swept over, his heart suddenly thumped. He swept back again. 2 people were missing. In fact, Lu Jie could only confirm which 2 of them were missing at that moment. Wang Lan, where's Su Donghai? Did you go to the toilet? Teacher, I'm here. The moment a voice sounded, Wang Lan's figure appeared beside Lu Jie like a flash of light. Sorry, I'm late. What's the matter? You're only here now. The competition is about to start. Take a seat. Where's Su Donghai? He's not here yet? Duan Ziki, do you have Su Donghai's phone number? Call him and ask him what the hell is going on. There are still 5 minutes left. If he doesn't arrive before the competition starts, it'll be considered as his forfeit. I just called. Su Donghai's phone is not in the service area. We don't know what's going on with him. Really? I'll report it to the higher-ups. Those who need to go to the toilet, hurry up. The first round is about to start. No one knows who will be fighting who in the first round. After that, Lu Jie whistled and walked away with one hand in his pocket. So realistic? Just now, when Wang Lan didn't come, instructor Lu Jie's face looked like he wanted to eat someone. But now that Su Donghai didn't come, he actually went to report it so casually. It's not his child. Does he need to care? I say, Duan Ziki, is your commoner joke society so heartless? A rich kid in the back row crossed his arms and teased. In the past 3 years, the rich kids have been miserably squeezed by the commoner genius society. It wasn't that the rich kids didn't want to fight, but the number of commoners was there. The rich kids were few in number and couldn't fight against so many people. It was even more impossible to use the power of their families. Their parents wouldn't agree to it. So in the past 3 years, the rich kids had used a cold attitude to deal with it. You say what you want, but I'll treat it as bullshit. In yesterday's battle, 3 of the 12 warriors were shortlisted. One of them was even Duan Ziki, who was firmly in the top 3 of the year. The legend of the commoner genius society that they had boasted about for 3 years had become a joke. This made the rich elites feel as if they had been suppressed for 500 years. With such a good opportunity, they would naturally fight back if they could, and fight to the death. Duan Ziki turned around coldly. A pair of cold eyes shot out from her eyes, and a strong aura rushed towards the student behind her like a flood. Pray that you don't pick me in the battle later. Otherwise, I'll let you know what a joke is. Originally, that person was going to retort. Duan Ziki didn't dare to do anything to him in front of everyone. But that gaze was like a sharp arrow that pierced his heart. At this moment, he felt that Duan Ziki was actually so terrifying. Wang Lan had just sat down when Jiang Xinyu quietly moved over. What's wrong with you? Why are you late today? Xinyu, don't worry. Didn't I say that Lan Zi would be fine? Lan Zi? You don't know, but before you came, Xinyu called you. Wait, why is your phone off? Wang Lan quietly bent down. The 4 people curiously gathered around. I deliberately turned off my phone. I arrived 10 minutes ago and have been secretly observing the contestants of today's 3rd round. Observing? Is it necessary to observe at this time? It's a long story. Teachers, distinguished guests, and students, the 3rd round of Sioux City's representative team selection for the provincial martial arts competition is about to begin. All contestants, please take your places. We will soon begin drawing matches. The broadcast suddenly sounded, interrupting Wang Lan's words. Everyone pricked up their ears and looked up at the stage with full attention. Wang Lan also shut her mouth and stopped talking. Because Su Donghai from grade 12 class 8 is unable to participate in the competition due to an accident, a student will replace Su Donghai's spot. According to the school's decision, the student who was eliminated in the 1st and 2nd round will be chosen based on the average score of the previous comprehensive exams to replace Su Donghai's spot. As soon as he finished speaking, the big screen instantly flipped over. The rankings of the previous exams instantly changed. In the end, 10 names appeared on the screen, and Zhuang Haoyan was in 1st place. When the host said that Zhuang Haoyan would be chosen based on the average score of the past 3 years, there was almost no suspense. If Zhuang Haoyan wasn't unlucky and fell into Wang Lan's hands, he would definitely be able to enter the representative team. Therefore, although there would be some people who were unwilling to accept the fact that he was representing Su Donghai in the top 20, most of them were still lucky. However, what the students were really concerned about was not Zhuang Haoyan replacing Su Donghai, but the reason why Su Donghai gave up such an important competition. One had to know that as long as one entered the representative team, it would be a bonus for the college entrance exam. Many famous Cebu Gakuin students clearly gave out conditions to represent the city and the school in an important event. Zhuang Haoyan ran over happily from afar and came to Wang Lan and the other candidates. When his eyes swept over Wang Lan, Zhuang Haoyan's expression suddenly changed. He recalled yesterday's unpleasant experience and his face turned pale. Sit to the side, Duan Ziki coldly shouted. What? Is there anyone sitting here? Zhuang Haoyan was a child of Takashi Hoshi's family. Normally, he didn't have any conflicts with Duan Ziki. The Commoner's Genius Society, led by Duan Ziki, also didn't spread their fire to Takashi Hoshi's children. Zhuang Haoyan's face turned ugly when he was suddenly shouted at by Duan Ziki. Can't you smell the sh*t on your body? Duan Ziki coldly raised her eyebrows and said provocatively. You dash! Zhuang Haoyan instantly exploded. He raised his fist, but suddenly a hand came between the two of them. Wang Lan was sitting behind the two of them. He used a flaming sword to separate the two who were about to clash. There are so many people watching, and there are also VIPs from other schools. Can you not embarrass the school? Zhuang Haoyan classmate, I'm really sorry about yesterday. I didn't do it on purpose. As for Duan Ziki classmate's words, you don't have to take it to heart. After all, the pants that I helped you change yesterday were taken away by someone. Whether or not there's a sh*t smell, only those who have eaten it will know. PFFF. As soon as he finished speaking, the group of top 23rd-year high school geniuses couldn't hold it in anymore. The group of people who had been keeping a straight face all this time were instantly thrown off their feet with laughter. Even the corner of Shui Miao's mouth was constantly twitching as he resisted the urge to split open. The only one who couldn't laugh was Duan Ziki, whose face had turned from green to purple. Whether or not there's a sh*t smell, only those who have eaten it will know. Ha ha! Lanzi, are you serious? I'm dying of laughter. Lanzi, next time before you tell a cold joke, can you foresee in advance? Foreseeing is still a cold joke? Ha ha! Wang Lan classmate, your words reminded me of a person from last semester. People gave him the nickname Fart Bro. This nickname was also given by you, right? Shut up. Are you all done laughing? Duan Ziki was so angry that her whole body was trembling as she roared furiously. The draw for the first battle has begun. It's out. Grade 12 Class 1 Wang Lan versus Grade 12 Class 4 Duan Ziki. V is starting. Wang Lan looked at the screen in astonishment. Wang Lan, I hope your vitality is strong enough. I'm afraid that I'll accidentally kill you. Duan Ziki slowly turned her face and sneered at Wang Lan. Chapter 182. No one had expected that the starting lineup would be Wang Lan and Duan Ziki. One was a genius commoner who had been ranked in the top 3 of the school for a long time, and the other was a prodigy who had risen rapidly in just 1 year. While they were sighing over the cruelty of this match, in the spectator stands, arguments about Wang Lan started buzzing as soon as the match list appeared. Wang Lan's strength had always been a mystery. He was only a member of Star Blazing, but he was able to defeat Zhuang Haoyan from Nebula in the first round. Therefore, many people thought that Wang Lan had a higher chance of winning this match than Duan Ziki. But as soon as this speculation was voiced, it was bombarded with different opinions. Zhuang Haoyan's strength is comparable to Duan Ziki's. Who knows how many drugs Zhuang Haoyan took to reach Nebula? Duan Ziki doesn't have a family background or resources. She reached Nebula with her own strength. You don't make sense. Is Zhuang Haoyan weak? Zhuang Haoyan has been in the top 10 for a long time. Okay? Even if Duan Ziki is stronger than Zhuang Haoyan, her strength is limited. If Wang Lan can defeat Zhuang Haoyan, maybe he can do the same to Duan Ziki. I think Wang Lan was lucky to be able to defeat Zhuang Haoyan. After all, the gap between their realms is obvious. Nebula has such a clear advantage over Star Blazing. It's hard for the same result to happen again. Stop arguing. The match is about to start. You'll know when you see the result. Wang Lan and Duan Ziki each stood in a corner of the arena. Seeing that both of them were in position, the referee gently picked up the whistle and put it to his mouth. Toot! The moment the whistle sounded, Duan Ziki's astral power surged. She turned into a streak of light and rushed toward Wang Lan in an S shape. Duan Ziki was a Takashi Hoshi with the wind attribute, so she was restrained by Wang Lan's fire attribute. Even so, Wang Lan didn't dare to let his guard down. Attribute suppression was relative. Elemental restraints and whether or not you had the ability to restrain them were two different matters. Duan Ziki was a nebula and had the advantage of abundant star power, so Wang Lan had already anticipated Duan Ziki's tactics. Gale Blade. Duan Ziki crossed her hands in front of her chest and blew out a gust of wind from her mouth. The howling wind was visible to the naked eye. Amidst the gale, countless tiny wind blades surged towards Wang Lan like a net of water sprayed out from shower. Duan Ziki's Gale Blade was a large-scale Takashi Hoshi skill. When she was about 15 meters away from Wang Lan, she suddenly activated it. At this distance, it would be difficult to dodge in an instant even if you wanted to, and this Takashi Hoshi skill allowed her to move flexibly. No matter where Wang Lan hid, Duan Ziki could still follow closely and reach the goal of enveloping Wang Lan. The fire attribute could indeed restrain the wind attribute, but the characteristic of the fire attribute was its violence. Not only would it hurt the enemy, but it would also hurt the user. No Takashi Hoshi would use the fire Takashi Hoshi skill to defend. Even if it was a defense, it would never be able to cover him from all angles. Duan Ziki's tactic was simple. Wind could be everywhere, but fire couldn't. Places without fire were Wang Lan's weakness. Wang Lan's feet exploded instantly, and a visible wave of air rippled from his feet. In an instant, Wang Lan's body leaned forward slightly. Duan Ziki's eyes flashed. You want to move forward? Let's see if you can dodge faster than my wind blade. In an instant, Duan Ziki's Takashi Hoshi skill surged forward at high speed in front of Wang Lan. At the same time, Wang Lan's body strangely moved 4 or 5 meters horizontally, dodging Duan Ziki's wind blade attack in the opposite direction. His feet stepped on the void, and he swept through the air for a short time. This Takashi Hoshi skill stunned all the students in the stands. If they didn't know that Wang Lan was really just a star-blazing player, this move of his would definitely be mistaken for a big shot from somewhere. What a flashy move, but it could only be exchanged for curses. It was too smooth. This retreat seemed to be the beginning of a new era. Duan Ziki, who had put away her Takashi Hoshi skill, was dumbfounded. Wang Lan's move was completely unreasonable. The direction of your force was clearly the back, so your body must be moving forward. But how did you manage to move in the direction of your force? If Wang Lan knew what Duan Ziki was thinking, he would definitely sneer. If the trajectory of Nebula Dance could be so easily captured by you, could it still be considered an A-grade Takashi Hoshi skill? Duan Ziki's move didn't work, and she hurriedly retreated. However, Wang Lan had already quickly activated Nebula Dance and closed in on Duan Ziki. Damn it, the rumors are true. Wang Lan is the champion of the Takashi Hoshi tournament, Wolf King. If that's the case, I have no other advantage over him other than my advantage in star power. Previously, the fact that Wang Lan was Wolf Cub was known by the students at the beginning of the school term, but for some reason, this news didn't become a topic of discussion. Even among the students in the same school, they only heard about it, knew about it, suspected it, and let it go. It was Songbo who told Duan Ziki that Wang Lan was the champion of the Takashi Hoshi tournament, Wolf Cub. However, when she heard the news, Duan Ziki scoffed. Wolf King was obviously a descendant of the Takashi Hoshi family. How could he be Wang Lan, a rich second-generation heir? Even if his family had mountains of gold and silver, how could he use 2 A-grade Takashi Hoshi skills? This wasn't something that could be bought with money. Compared to the real old Takashi Hoshi family, the wealth of the rich wasn't even worth mentioning. However, after seeing Wang Lan's movements, her initial denial was so childish and laughable. Not only did Wang Lan use 2 A-grade Takashi Hoshi skills, but he was also really rich. Almost instantly, Duan Ziki extracted the information about Wolf King from her mind. When the Takashi Hoshi tournament was popular, Duan Ziki had studied this person. At that time, she judged that the odds of winning were 50-50. Although Wolf Cub was only using Star Blazing, there were too many things about Wolf Cub that were unreasonable. His close combat ability and battle awareness were breathtaking. He could ignore the time interval between switching between Takashi Hoshi skills, and he had cultivated 2 A-grade Takashi Hoshi skills to a high level. Against such an opponent, she could only use Takashi Hoshi's level advantage to suppress him. While suppressing him, she had to be in an invincible position. Thinking of this, Duan Ziki's eyes flashed, and she made up her mind. Wind Force. As Duan Ziki kept dodging Wang Lan, the star power around her surged. A green light rose around her, and a breeze drifted out of Duan Ziki's body. Subconsciously, Wang Lan suddenly retreated and stopped in her tracks. The moment Wang Lan stopped, Duan Ziki turned into a stream of light and rushed toward Wang Lan. At that moment, in the words of the students in the stands, they could only see a green light appear, and then they saw Wang Lan and Duan Ziki collide. Then the 2 figures brushed past each other and stood back to back on the duel field. What just happened? Duan Ziki unleashed her power? The duel? Who won? Who lost? Who saw it clearly? In the stands, there was a buzzing sound. So fast, Su Xiangwen sighed nervously. She was twice as fast as I was when I activated my pure Yang Dharma idol. Duan Ziki really lived up to her name. Your speed is different from his. Your reaction speed, movement speed, and attack speed are all fast. On the other hand, Duan Ziki's Wind Force technique is only fast movement speed, but his attack speed is not fast, Jiang Xinyu said calmly with her arms crossed. But even so, it's still a headache to be able to reach such a speed. Wang Lan won't be able to win this duel, CSCC said with a face full of worry. Wang Lan has plenty of experience in dealing with this kind of opponent. Zhuang Haoyan, who was sitting in front of them, had a deep understanding of Jiang Xinyu's words. Speed? It was useless against Wang Lan. He recalled yesterday's duel countless times, and it took him nearly 8 hours to figure out how he lost. He lost because the information was not equal. He lost because he put his face up for the opponent to hit, and he lost because he hit the muzzle of the gun. Wang Lan's lightning element was not countered by his fire element, but Wang Lan's lightning element was super strong in the area of motor nerves. How strong was his lightning element speed? Wang Lan was able to completely break it down. Zhuang Haoyan was very clear that when he activated his lightning force technique, his speed was so fast that his consciousness could barely keep up. However, Wang Lan was able to completely break it down. It was because of this that he lost so shamefully. If he didn't use his lightning force technique to embarrass himself, how could he lose so easily? Therefore, when he saw Duan Ziki's wind force technique, Zhuang Haoyan's heart was filled with anticipation. Another person might be beaten to a pulp. Ding! With a crisp sound, half a dagger fell from Wang Lan's hand. Wang Lan looked at the dagger with a serious expression, and a cold light flashed in his eyes. Her wind force technique was extremely fast, even faster than Su Xiangwen's speed. However, her movements were very simple. Her high-speed movements were all based on Takashi Hoshi's technique. Therefore, after Wang Lan activated his dynamic vision, Duan Ziki's movements could not be hidden from Wang Lan's eyes. However, that was Wang Lan. If it were anyone else, they would not have noticed that Duan Ziki had taken out her tactical dagger and was about to slash Wang Lan's throat. Moreover, Duan Ziki had added wind cut to the dagger, so Wang Lan's tactical dagger was cut in half. In the school selection, the use of weapons and Takashi Hoshi's technique was allowed, but intentional killing was not allowed. Duan Ziki's dagger could slash anywhere but Wang Lan's throat. The two slowly turned around, and their eyes met. Facing Wang Lan's cold gaze, Duan Ziki slowly raised her dagger and gave Wang Lan a provocative look. Nebula's dodging was too nimble, and she did not play by the rules at all. Normal Takashi Hoshi's technique would have a hard time hitting Wang Lan. Therefore, Wind Force technique was the only skill that could suppress Wang Lan. Although Gan Lai's Wind Force technique was countered by Wang Lan during the Takashi Hoshi tournament, Gan Lai's Wind Force technique was trash in Duan Ziki's eyes. Where did you get the courage to embarrass yourself with a wind force technique that could not even be used in a curved path? If Ganlai had been able to use a complicated curved path, no matter if it was a horizontal or vertical flaming blade, it would not have been able to defeat him. The same move depended on who was using it. Thinking of this, the corners of Duan Ziqi's mouth cracked open slightly, and the howling of the wind around him became even more mournful. The fierce wind wrapped around Duan Ziqi, and he seemed to have completely turned into a wind spirit. Whoosh! Turning into a green light again, Duan Ziqi instantly rushed toward Wang Lan. In the eyes of the students on the stands, Duan Ziqi was using a side path, but under Wang Lan's dynamic vision, Duan Ziqi's wind force technique was revolving. Frankly speaking, before he mastered dynamic vision, Wang Lan might not have been able to do anything about this move. But now, Wang Lan could only say that she was unlucky. Chapter 183. The moment Duan Ziqi's dagger struck, the solar wheel in his hands chopped down. Even with his dynamic vision, Wang Lan could clearly see Duan Ziqi's rapidly changing expression. That kind of panic, confusion, and disbelief. If Wang Lan hadn't stopped, this solar wheel would have been enough to chop off Duan Ziqi's head. In an instant, Wang Lan's solar wheel shook slightly, shifting its angle and brushing past Duan Ziqi. The scene froze, as if time had been rewound, and the previous scene appeared in front of everyone's eyes once again. Only this time, the direction of the two had swapped, and Duan Ziqi's appearance was a little off. Duan Ziqi originally had a head full of short hair, but after being swept by Wang Lan's sun halo, his hair had already reached its peak before it was even old. "You lost," Wang Lan said indifferently, turning around and walking toward the stands. If Wang Lan hadn't held back, Duan Ziqi's head would have been chopped off, not just her hair. "Are you kidding me? You only hurt a few strands of my hair, and you say you won?" Wang Lan's footsteps paused, and a cool breeze swept past his back. Wang Lan hadn't expected Duan Ziqi to be so shameless. He turned around and looked at the referee. Takashi Hoshi, the referee, was just a school teacher. They all had the cultivation of star blazing, so how could they see the details clearly? Hurriedly, the referees looked for a slow-motion replay of the video. However, even with the slow-motion replay, they were unable to prove whether Wang Lan had held back and intentionally slashed at Duan Ziqi's head, or whether Duan Ziqi had dodged Wang Lan's attack. Student Wang Lan, student Duan Ziqi, the video can't prove your victory, so we've decided to continue the match. Student Wang Lan, do you have any objections? Wang Lan frowned and slowly shook his head. I have no objections, but if that's the case, I can't guarantee that there won't be unpredictable consequences next time. The referee nodded. The school has already taken this into consideration. Student Duan Ziqi, I also hope that you can recognize the facts. If there is really a gap between you and Wang Lan, please don't force yourself. When he said that, even a referee felt a little uncomfortable. A nebula was competing with a star blazing, and he was trying to persuade a nebula not to force it. What the F***? Teacher, why do you think that my strength is inferior to Wang Lan's? Is it because of my hair? Duan Ziqi was so angry that her face turned green. She reached out and wiped the top of her head. Wind attribute star power surged, and in the blink of an eye, her black hair was shredded by the sharp wind attribute, leaving a shiny bald head under the sun. The referee stepped back, and Duan Ziqi suddenly soared into the sky. The wind around her fluttered like ribbons. Duan Ziqi actually flew quietly into the air. Seeing this, the expressions of Su Xiangwen and the other three changed. Shameless. Duan Ziqi lost just now, but he was so thick-skinned and didn't admit it. So this is the reason. He has mastered a flying Takashi Hoshi technique. There were very few flying Takashi Hoshi techniques. It wasn't that they weren't needed, but that the flying requirements were too strict. The only attribute that could meet the requirements for flying was the wind attribute. The other flying Takashi Hoshi techniques were all of the transformation type of star power. Besides, all the transformation Takashi Hoshi techniques that could fly required extremely high control of star power. The high threshold limited the number of flying Takashi Hoshi techniques. Being able to fly was also the reason why Duan Ziki dared to refuse to admit defeat. I've already flown into the sky and stood shoulder to shoulder with the sun. How can I lose? Duan Ziki, can you perform 2 Takashi Hoshi techniques at the same time? Wang Lan looked up and asked with a smile. I can't, but do you think I don't have a way? Duan Ziki sneered. Instantly, her star power surged. At the same time, Duan Ziki's star power surged. The flying Takashi Hoshi technique lost its effect, and she fell from the sky. But less than 20 meters down, Duan Ziki shot out a vacuum bomb from her mouth. It was aimed at Wang Lan like a missile. The moment the vacuum bomb hit, Duan Ziki's star power surged again, and she rose into the sky again. F***CK. Was this tactic a proper aerial bombardment? Dive, drop the bomb, and then climb up? If Wang Lan hadn't mastered the shooting Takashi Hoshi technique, which specialized in countering the flying type, he wouldn't have been able to do it. Wang Lan, admit defeat, or else you'll die. Looking down from above, Duan Ziki opened her arms like a god. Duan Ziki, who was high in the sky, had never felt so good. That vision of looking down on all living things made him feel like he was the master. There won't be a next time. Wang Lan slowly raised his right hand, his fingers in the shape of a gun. Looking at this starting gesture, everyone was baffled. Even Zhang Xinyu and the others didn't know what Wang Lan was going to do. Only Principal Zhang, who was watching from the stands, stood up abruptly, looking at this starting position in disbelief. In a trance, he recalled the glorious days of the past. Back then, countless flying exotic beasts covered the sky and earth, wreaking havoc. Not only were these flying exotic beasts extremely fast, they could also spit out burning lava from their mouths. That was a hellish battlefield, with charred corpses everywhere. A small city 10 kilometers wide was destroyed by this group of flying exotic beasts that suddenly appeared. Just as the volunteer army was in despair, reinforcements arrived. Facing thousands of flying exotic beasts, only 50 reinforcements came. At that time, in Principal Zhang's eyes, these 50 reinforcements were simply here to deliver food. However, the moment they clashed, it left an unforgettable scene for Principal Zhang and the others. Every one of them mimicked Wang Lan's action, pointing their right hand at the sky like a gun. In an instant, countless laser cannons were fired at the sky, and the flying exotic beasts fell like rain. In just an hour, tens of thousands of powerful flying exotic beasts were wiped out. Principal Zhang still remembered the name of the reinforcements. Vermilion Bird. A golden ray of light appeared around Wang Lan. A pair of wings spread out, and a silvery white arrow instantly shot out from Wang Lan's fingertips. What? Duan Ziki's expression changed greatly, and he hurriedly dodged. However, Wang Lan instantly shot out 6 arrows, sealing off all the space he could dodge. Duan Ziki hurriedly climbed up, but how could his speed compare to the speed of the crescent moon arrows? Wind barrier. In his panic, Duan Ziki hurriedly activated Takashi Hoshi and descended from the sky. Boom, boom, boom. 2 arrows exploded upon hitting the barrier, while the other 4 brushed past it. Duan Ziki fell from the sky like a falling meteor. Under everyone's dumbfounded gazes, he accurately landed in a circle of sand outside the arena. Wang Lan looked coldly at Duan Ziki, then looked at the referee. Round 1, Wang Lan wins. Successfully advanced to the top 10 contestants. Reward: 5,000 EXP and 200 skill points. The moment the notification sounded, the EXP bar on the system's character panel instantly rose from 97 to 100%. The moment the EXP bar filled up, a wave of astral power surged out from Wang Lan's body. What's Wang Lan doing? He already won. Why is there still astral power surging out? This scene was immediately noticed by the students who came back to their senses, and they immediately exclaimed, "He's so ruthless. He beat up Duan Ziki so badly, and he's still not going to let him go. Is the referee blind? Why aren't you stopping Wang Lan? Does the referee dare to stop him? If he really wants to, Wang Lan can fight all the Takashi Hoshi teachers in the school alone. Enough of you two idiots. Can't you even distinguish between the astral power of Takashi Hoshi and the astral power of a breakthrough? As soon as he finished speaking, the person suddenly slapped himself in the face. F***CK. You can break through like this? Breakthrough? You can break through like this? Once this doubt was raised, it instantly swept over like a virus. He had just finished a battle, and he had released so many Takashi Hoshi skills. Was this fake? How could he have broken through with astral power? The astral power surging became more obvious and intense. Suddenly, there was a crackling sound, and the astral power around Wang Lan calmed down. His mind sank into the system. Character, Wang Lan. Level star brilliance 9. Just one more level, and he would be able to break through Nebula. How wonderful. But when he saw the EXP required for star brilliance 9, Wang Lan's face suddenly darkened. 90,000 EXP. What did 90,000 EXP mean? In the past few days of the new year, destroying an elite spy team and finding the magic potion production workshop only added up to 90,000 EXP. Such a big reward was only enough for Wang Lan to level up once. The road ahead is long, and I will jump up and down. Medical staff, quick, medical staff, how is student Duan Ziki? She was shaken by the strong explosion. Mild concussion, no big problems. The medical staff quickly said after a quick examination. She's fine. That's good. Carry student Duan Ziki to rest. Next match, Zhuang Haoyan vs. Jiang Xinyu. The moment this match was announced, Zhuang Haoyan's expression changed from gloating to constipation. Originally, Zhuang Haoyan felt good after Wang Lan beat up Duan Ziki. Although the one who beat up Duan Ziki was Wang Lan, Zhuang Haoyan felt that he was the one who beat her up. But before he could be happy for long, the next match made Zhuang Haoyan's heart fall to the bottom. After being defeated by Wang Lan in one hit, Zhuang Haoyan felt that he had not chosen a good strategy and had used a full set of bombs to achieve a 3v3. But against Jiang Xinyu, F***CK, she was a pervert with a full set of trump cards. Seeing that Jiang Xinyu stood up and was about to go on stage, Zhuang Haoyan wanted to strangle the teacher who drew the list and ask him a question. What's the meaning of resurrecting me to replace Su Donghai? Is it just to let me go through the motions and be honorably eliminated? When Zhuang Haoyan went on stage, there was a burst of laughter in the stands, especially those who thought that their strength was not below Zhuang Haoyan's, but almost did not get resurrected because of the comprehensive exam. Zhuang Haoyan, stop messing around. To stand to your home. Come back obediently. Beep beep. Just as he returned his seat, Wang Lan's phone rang. He picked up the phone and answered, "Hello, Brother Su. Are you in school now?" "Yes, I am." "Is the match over?" "I finished the morning match. There's a challenge match in the afternoon." "I'm in your school too. Come to the back of the mountain." "Okay." Sioux City Ejong's construction followed the characteristics of Sioux City's gardens strictly. They paid attention to the color of the sky and the earth and the blending of the mountains and rivers. Especially the Takashi Hoshi campus, they needed to open up an outdoor training ground. Even if there was no mountain, they built a man-made one that covered an area of 90,000 square meters. The so-called back of the mountain was referring to that place. When Wang Lan arrived at the back of the mountain, the dean of teaching and the homeroom teacher of Class 8 were there. "Wang Lan, what are you doing here? Go back, is the match over?" The dean of teaching shouted. "Dynamo, I called Wang Lan here. Other than being your student, Wang Lan is also an elite redcoat from the Heavenly Sword Bureau. Wang Lan, come and take a look." Su Shiyun waved at Wang Lan. The two of them stood on the top of the mountain again. In front of Wang Lan's eyes was a four-leaf lawn that stretched from the top of the mountain to the foot of the mountain. Chapter 184. This is the first crime scene. Wang Lan looked at the four-leaf clover and immediately understood why Su Shiyun had come here. It should be the four-leaf clover, Su Donghai's identity, and the fact that there are no four-leaf clovers in Shanghai Park. All these factors are enough to make me suspect that the first crime scene is at number 1 high school. Wang Lan, look, there are obvious footprints here. Are there bloodstains? No. And after testing, the bloodstains that almost dyed the pool red are indeed Su Donghai's. But even if Su Donghai was killed in Shanghai Park, it doesn't prove that it wasn't set up. We found traces of astral binding on Su Donghai's body, which means that Su Donghai couldn't move before he died. After hearing Su Shiyun's words, Wang Lan's face became serious. The murderer is someone from the school? That's right. I heard from Hu Qing that you made a conjecture, that the murderer wanted you to miss the college selection. If that's the case, the murderer's range is narrowed down to 20 people. Wang Lan, who doesn't want you to participate in today's competition. In an instant, the dean and the other school leaders all looked at Wang Lan in unison. I only made a preliminary conjecture this morning. Actually, there are still many things that don't make sense. For example, not many people in the school know my true strength. Even if I defeated Zhuang Haoyan in one move yesterday, most people still think it was a coincidence. After all, my star blazing strength is there for all to see. Star blazing's F*King strength. Su Shiyun want to slap this guy to death. Thinking back to a few days ago, when he was beaten up by Wang Lan in public, Su Shiyun felt aggrieved. Although he could only use one Takashi Hoshi technique to limit Su Shiyun's true strength, he could still use another one. As an elite nebula, it was already shameful that he couldn't kill Star Blazing in one move, but he was still defeated by Wang Lan. During those days, Su Shiyun felt that the brothers under him looked at him strangely. Wang Lan's Star Blazing was too deceptive. In Su Shiyun's opinion, Wang Lan's overall strength had already reached the level of nebula, and if the conditions allowed, Wang Lan could display the strength of an elite nebula. One was lost in thought. Only as 7 or 8 people in the school know my true strength, and they're all people who I trust didn't have a need to stop me from participating in the competition. The other competitors don't know my strength, so they won't be afraid of me. Although it seems to be a suspect, I'm wise as a lot. Where's Duan Ziqi? That's possible? Hu Qing suddenly asked. You just defeated him. He's very strong, and he's a Nebula Realm expert. If he hadn't met you, he would have easily entered the Su City team. Not long ago, I learned that Su Donghai left the Commoners' Genius Society a week ago. Could there be a conflict because of this? That's possible. But before today, I didn't have any conflict with Duan Ziqi. Duan Ziqi doesn't know my strength. Even if my attributes restrain his, he has no reason to be afraid of me as a nebula. Compared to Duan Ziqi, I have another suspect. Wang Lan's mind flashed. Who? Zhuang Haoyan. Zhuang Haoyan lost to me yesterday, so he must have a grudge against me. Now that Su Donghai is dead, Zhuang Haoyan will be the one who benefits in the end. Wang Lan was completely immersed in his reasoning when he said this. He didn't notice that the head of teaching's face was as black as the bottom of a pot. Zhuang Haoyan, his nephew. You're suspecting my nephew in front of me? Are you doing this on purpose? That's not right. Wang Lan suddenly shook his head again. Zhuang Haoyan's attribute is lightning. If Su Donghai's fatal wound was caused by Takashi Hoshi's skill, there should be a burn. Did he have a helper? Cough, cough, cough. Student Wang Lan, can I interrupt for a moment? The head of teaching forced a smile. If Wang Lan was only a student, the head of teaching would have already started scolding him. But Wang Lan wasn't just a student, he was also an elite special agent of the Heavenly Sword Bureau. Damn, this was an identity that the head of teaching could only look up to. What did it mean to win at the starting line? Wang Lan wasn't at the starting line. He had directly reached the finishing line that others had fought for their entire lives. Who would dare to say that they could work until they retired, sneak into the Heavenly Sword Bureau, and even get the rank of an elite captain in the Heavenly Sword Bureau? A captain in the Heavenly Sword Bureau could be registered anywhere in the country. No matter where they went, it was their home. The benefits were so good that ordinary people's eyes would turn red. Wang Lan, I can guarantee that it's not Zhuang Haoyan. Zhuang Haoyan was at my house last night. Also, I wasn't alone. My son got married yesterday. Many people can testify. Oh, is that so? Hu Qing, once the chain of evidence is gathered, we can eliminate him as a suspect. Okay. Ding, ding, ding. Just then, Hu Qing's phone rang. Hello, what? Are you sure? Hu Qing hung up quickly and looked at Wang Lan and Su Shiyun with a serious face. Just now, our brothers called to confirm that Su Donghai's parents are missing. His house has been searched. Let's go to Su Donghai's house, Su Shiyun shouted immediately. I'll go too. Wang Lan blurted out subconsciously, but he stopped in his tracks. Damn, there's a challenge in the afternoon. Wang Lan, it's okay. The challenge in the afternoon has been postponed. After such a thing happened, we have to investigate and find out the truth. Also, the Provincial Bureau has issued a notice that the principal is required to attend a meeting in the afternoon. Therefore, the challenge will be postponed until the principal returns. That's great. Dean, I want to apply for leave. Please approve. The dean's eyebrows twitched slightly. Approve? With your status, do you need to apply for leave? Can I say no? He waved his hand. Go. Find out the truth as soon as possible. The three of them had just walked out of the school gate when a police car sped over. Captain Hu Qing invited Su Shiyun and Wang Lan into the car and sat in the front passenger seat. Su Donghai lives alone near number 1 middle school. His family rented a house for him. His parents live in Xiangyang district. We first found his parents' company. The company replied that they did not come to work today. Then, we went to his house. The door was locked from the inside. The house was very messy, but the valuables were not lost. We suspect that they were looking for something. Locked from the inside? The door was not broken? When we broke the door was fine. Does that mean the murderer has the key? Not necessarily. If it's an Earth-type Takashi Hoshi, he can easily enter with the underground walking technique. The car sped along, running red lights all the way. In less than 20 minutes, they arrived at Su Donghai's parents' house. Su Donghai's parents' house was still a village house. There was a fence around it. At this moment, the fence was surrounded by curious neighbors. I heard that Su Qingshan's house was robbed. Oh my, there's so many guards. The guards nowadays are getting better and better. In the past, if you reported a crime, the guards would nag for half a day and not come. Later, if you reported a crime, the guards would guarantee that they would come within half an hour. Now, it's even better. Even if you don't report a crime, the guards will come. Are you stupid? If you don't report a crime, why would the guards come? Moreover, is there a need to make such a scene if something was stolen from your house? Look at the guards standing guard inside. They have guns in their hands. Then what's going on? Didn't they say his house was robbed? Amidst the discussions of the people, a police car rushed directly through the fence and into the yard. For people got out of the car. Captain Hu here. Wang Lan entered the scene. From the living room to the kitchen, to the bedroom upstairs, to the utility cabinet, and even the small house next door where the waste was piled up was turned into a mess. Brothers are collecting fingerprint clues. We can be sure that the murderer is looking for something. This thing might be related to Su Donghai's murder. Have you checked the surveillance footage? Did you find any traces of Su Qingshan and his wife? Su Qingshan and his wife both work in a township enterprise 5 miles away. The surveillance footage shows that they got off work at 8 o'clock yesterday and rode home on an electric scooter. After that, they left the video surveillance area. Until now, there has been no trace of them. The results of the city's Skynet screening have just come out. Nothing. Is there a hidden place nearby where no one will notice even if something happens? Wang Lan quickly asked. What do you suspect? The murderer might not have found them. I'm guessing that Su Qingshan and his wife's disappearance might have been captured and tortured by the murderer. If it was for the sake of convenience, the murderer wouldn't have taken Su Qingshan and his wife far away. Maybe a small forest nearby or something. Su Shiyun came to the courtyard and gently stomped his feet. In an instant, a cylindrical platform rose from the ground under his feet, sending Su Shiyun dozens of meters high in the air. He looked around and slowly landed. No, it's either a village, an industrial area, or a residential area. Wang Lan walked past Su Qingshan and his wife's bedroom. The guards were collecting clues inch by inch. All of a sudden, Wang Lan stepped on a sticker with her foot. Wait, brother who? Who else does Su Donghai have besides his parents? This chief has an older sister. She got married 5 years ago and lives in Dongxing district. We just called her and got through. We informed her of the accident. At first, she thought it was a scam. Later, we used the superintendent's phone to call her. She believed us and hurriedly said that she would be there soon. Then she hung up. We wanted to pick her up. Later, the phone kept getting through, but no one answered. Maybe she left in a hurry and was left at home. How long has it been? About 20 minutes. In an instant, Wang Lan's face changed greatly. Hu Qing, quick, go to Su Donghai's sister's house. Something might have happened to her sister. Hu Qing quickly asked his men to drive the car. Wang Lan and Hu Qing got into the car and drove out. Hey, you're going. Aren't you going to wait for me? Su Shiyan looked at the police car's tail lights in the distance. Brother Hu, the photos of Su Qingshan's family were scattered all over the ground. I saw many photos of Su Qingshan's family. Su Donghai has an older sister. How could the murderer not know? If I were the murderer, if I didn't get anything out of him, I would definitely expand the scope of the interrogation. 20 minutes ago, the guards called Su Donghai's sister. Su Donghai's sister said that she would be there soon and hung up. After that, the phone didn't go through anymore. The brothers suspected that the phone was left at home. But people nowadays, especially people of the 80-90 generation, how could they forget to bring their phones when they go out? Moreover, the phone was in their hands. 20 minutes was enough to get here from the Dongxing district, but she didn't come. I feel that the person who answered the phone was not Su Donghai's sister. It might be the murderer. Chapter 185. The police car quickly rushed into Hanjing Garden and took the elevator to the floor of Su Dongdong's house. Wang Lan had already obtained Su Dongdong's information while he was in the car. Su Dongdong was 11 years older than Su Donghai. She just got married 5 years ago. Her husband was in the management of the company. She just went on a business trip to the Holy Shelf 7 days ago and had yet to return. Woof, woof, woof. When they arrived at the door, they heard intense barking coming from inside the house. Wang Lan looked at Hu Qing solemnly. Hu Qing nodded. Wang Lan raised his flaming blade and slashed open the door. He kicked it open and saw a house in a mess. Are we late? Hu Qing took a deep breath. If our brother had reacted immediately when he received the call, we might have made it in time. Damn it. Xiao AI immediately checked the neighborhood surveillance. Screen all the people and vehicles entering and leaving the neighborhood within 20 minutes. Wait, it's within half an hour. Yes. Woof woof. A barking sound was heard. Wang Lan and Hu Qing both looked over at the same time. In the corner of the messy living room, a golden retriever was looking at the two of them with bright eyes in a dog cage. Hu Qing quickly moved his eyes away and began to search for clues in the messy house. Woof woof. Wang Lan looked at the golden retriever in confusion. Wang Lan felt a sense of familiarity from the golden retriever. Its eyes were too spiritual, just like the way Hengyo looked at him. Wang Lan came to the side of the cage and saw that there was a lock on the cage. Wang Lan stretched out her hand. Flames burned, and the lock melted at a speed visible to the naked eye. Bang! With a loud bang, the dog cage was suddenly knocked away by the golden retriever and it rushed out of the house. Wang Lan hesitated for a moment. Suddenly, his expression changed and he rushed out of the house. At this moment, the elevator door opened and the golden retriever slipped into the elevator. Wang Lan quickly followed and got into the elevator the moment the elevator door closed. The golden retriever raised its head to look at Wang Lan. The man and the dog occupied the corner of the elevator and stared at each other warily. From the golden retriever's intelligent eyes, Wang Lan was sure that the dog had a very high IQ. Golden retriever was the one who pressed the elevator button, and so was the one who pressed the button to go down. When the elevator reached the ground floor and the door opened, the golden retriever rushed out of the house and ran away. Wang Lan quickly followed. The golden retriever's speed was extremely fast. Once it had determined the direction, it ran like a madman. But after running for a few minutes, it would stop and sniff around for a while before running again. Wang Lan ran with the golden retriever for half an hour, and the places they went became more and more remote. Gradually, they arrived near the industrial district. Woof, woof. The golden retriever suddenly stopped and looked back at Wang Lan. Finally, it squeezed through the gap in the fence. Wang Lan looked at the company. Meat packing factory? Wang Lan's figure flashed and followed in. Once he entered the factory, Wang Lan's attention was instantly attracted by the seal on the door. Suddenly, Wang Lan remembered that Sioux City had recently discovered a lot of unqualified pork that had not passed the inspection. Then they started to clean up the market and shut down many factories that were suspected of violating the law. This is a sealed factory. Looks like my guess is correct. This golden retriever can really find its owner. Wang Lan sneaked into the darkness and stared at the golden retriever's disappearing back. Woof, woof, woof. A series of urgent barking came. Wang Lan immediately activated his telescopic vision and pulled his vision forward. Inside a warehouse, facing Wang Lan's vision, there was a woman hanging with her arms and legs spread out. Her hair was unkempt and her face was lowered, so Wang Lan could not see her face clearly. Where did this dog come from? Inside the room, a half-naked bald man with two flowery necks came to the window and spat. This is a meat-packing factory. Isn't it normal for a dog to come here? Cats eat fish, dogs eat meat. Say, boss, do we still need to interrogate her? This woman obviously doesn't know anything. We won't be able to get anything out of her. It's a waste of energy. What? You're going easy on her now? Balls. I'm sick of her already. Even though I don't see myself as a human anymore, if she really knows, then I might be interested in playing with her. But she obviously doesn't know anything. So what's the point of playing with her? It's one thing for us to know, but the higher-ups don't care. If we don't play with her until we die, the higher-ups will think we didn't try our best. The result is not important. The most important thing is the attitude. Have you rested enough? We'll continue with the interrogation. Come, give me the scissors, let's cut your fingers. Woof, woof, woof. The golden retriever suddenly barked and charged at the window. But the window was blocked by iron bars. Even if the golden retriever's head was bleeding, it was useless. Ha! Stupid dog, keep banging. If you die, you'll have more for dinner tonight. By the way, doesn't this dog look familiar? Where is it? His voice paused as a silver-white crescent moon arrow pierced through his mouth and shot out from the back of his head. Crack, crack, crack. Loggy, what the hell are you doing? Stop playing with the dog. Work is more important. Loggy's voice stopped abruptly, and he fell to the ground, blood gushing out of his mouth like a fountain. There's someone. Who's there? The remaining few jumped up nervously. Their sharp eyes scanned the surroundings, but they could not find where the attacker came from. The two of them leaned against the wall and looked at Loggy, who was on the ground, blood gushing out of his mouth. It's a sniper. What do we do? Threaten him with a hostage. As soon as one of them finished speaking, he rolled on the ground and dodged to the side of the woman who was hung up. The dagger in his hand turned into a cold light. As long as the dagger was on the woman's neck, the sniper could only obediently. Suddenly, his movement stopped, and he felt a numbing itch between his eyebrows. Almost instantly, endless darkness swallowed him. Chain. The remaining three people's expressions changed drastically, and fear quickly appeared on their faces. Wang Lan, who was hiding in the dark, also had a flash in his eyes. This arrow also allowed him to confirm one thing. The people in the warehouse were not Takashi Hoshi. They were just ordinary people. After confirming that they were not Takashi Hoshi, Wang Lan did not have so many scruples. His body flashed, and he turned into a stream of light and rushed toward the warehouse. The distance of less than 300 meters was only 20 seconds for Wang Lan. In the eyes of the three people in the warehouse, this speed was like a speeding train, and he was already in front of them the moment they noticed him. Boom! With a loud bang, the wall collapsed. Wang Lan's figure entered the warehouse, and he activated his dynamic vision, instantly scanning the entire warehouse. After confirming that there were no hidden threats, he went in front of the woman and protected her behind him. "Brother, where are you from?" "Fling your tendrils." "Heavenly Sword Bureau." "Now I'm asking you a question. If you answer one wrong word, you'll die. What are you looking for?" "Kid, you're not afraid of the flash when you talk." With a flash of silver light, an arrow instantly pierced through the man's shoulder, and a bloody hole appeared, with blood gushing out. "Star, Takashi Hoshi, this is your last chance. What are you looking for?" "We're looking for—" "Ah." The voice suddenly stopped, and the remaining two robbers suddenly hugged their heads and wailed miserably. Wang Lan's eyes suddenly became sharp, and the two robbers' heads in front of him were wriggling violently, as if they were balloons being squeezed in his hand. Bang! Suddenly, with a soft sound, the two robbers' heads exploded like smashed watermelons. A ferocious beetle crawled out of their heads. Wang Lan instantly shot out a flame from his finger. Under the burning of the flame, the two beetles let out a terrifying squeak and then turned into ashes in the flame. Wang Lan quickly rescued the hanging woman and checked that she was still breathing. He quickly pressed the woman's chest, but unfortunately, she was just a normal person, and Wang Lan's Takashi Hoshi healing technique was ineffective on her. Woo woo woo. The sound of sirens came closer and closer, and not long after, the sirens were outside the warehouse door. Wang Lan carried the woman out of the warehouse, and the golden retriever nervously jumped around Wang Lan, its eyes never leaving the woman in Wang Lan's arms. "Wang Lan, how is it?" "She should be Su Dongdong. She's in danger now. Get her to the doctor." "Xiaofeng, get the doctor. Where are the robbers?" "They're dead." Wang Lan shook his head grimly. "The robbers have beetles in their heads, and if they show any signs of betrayal, the beetles will quickly eat their brains. Also, this is not a beetle that we humans know of, and I'm sure it's not a beetle that can be found in sky blue. The demons are behind this." "Demons?" Su Shiryun's voice rose from the ground. "Su Dongdong is involved with the demons? Su City has a demon spy team?" "Su City is one of the top cities in the Jade State, so naturally, the demons are paying attention to it. The spy teams that we've caught are not even a tenth of the demon spies. It's not strange for a new spy team to appear. But if the demons are behind this, then what's the purpose of the demons killing Su Dongdong? What do the demons want from Su Dongdong? That's not what worries me the most. What worries me the most is that the demons obviously don't want me to participate in the provincial martial arts tournament. The demons want to sabotage the provincial martial arts tournament." Su Shiryun's face suddenly changed, and he asked seriously, "It's possible. Su Dongdong is the only clue now. If we save Su Dongdong, then we'll know what the demons are looking for. Then let's go." Hu Qing left his men here to collect evidence and brought the three to the hospital. Ding, ding, ding. Wang Lan's phone rang. She looked at the caller ID and saw that it was Jiang Xinyu. "Hello. Wang Lan, what did you run off to? You didn't even show up this morning's tournament? It's over? So fast. How are you guys?" Cece was unlucky. She met Qin Shichin and lost. Xiang Wen and Fei Yu both passed. Also, the tournament in the afternoon has been postponed. It might be 3 days later or even longer. Wait for further notice. I already know. I have something to do now. I'll give you a call when I'm done." "Something to do? Business?" Jiang Xinyu sensed something. "Yes, I heard. Su Dongdong is dead. Is that right?" "Yes. I can't say anything else." "Okay, I'm hanging up." The three of them arrived at the hospital. At the entrance of the hospital, Wang Lan saw the golden retriever lying on the ground quietly and obediently. Its eyes were scanning the guards, as if waiting for an opportunity. When it saw Wang Lan get out of the car, it quickly stood up and walked over while wagging its tail. Chapter 186. This dog is very smart, and it played a big role in saving Su Dongdong this time. Should we take care of it? Xiao Qi, take the golden retriever back to the police car and take it away together later. Wang Lan and the others came to the emergency department. The guards waiting in the emergency department quickly stood up and saluted. How is Su Dongdong? Very dangerous, but we have asked the best doctor to save her. The doctor said that the most important thing is not physical damage, but psychological damage. Su Dongdong's fingernails and teeth were violently pulled out. Her hair was pulled out, and there are many wounds on her body. The person who did this is a F*** animal. How could he be so cruel? The animal who did this has been killed. Did the doctor say when the rescue will be completed? When will Su Dongdong wake up? I asked the doctor to do it as soon as possible. Dong. The door of the operating room was suddenly opened, and a young doctor in white walked out while wiping his sweat. Then, a hospital bed was pushed out of the operating room. Doctor, how is it? Su Dongdong, You are the guards, right? Yes. Hu Qing nodded quickly and took out his ID. Guards are good. The person who did this to Miss Su Dongdong is very professional. He is a master of torture. He made the victim feel the greatest pain with the least physical damage. This is the distinctive feature of the Holy War International Security Company. The person who tortured Miss Su Dongdong should have been trained in the Holy War. As soon as these words came out, Hu Qing and the others suddenly looked at the young doctor with strange eyes. Don't think too much. I used to be a soldier. Of course, I can't tell you the number of my unit for confidentiality. 027. Su Shiryun suddenly grinned, stretched out his fist, and knocked down. The young doctor subconsciously raised his hand and hit Su Shiryun's fist. It was so skillful and natural, as if it was instinct. You're also? The young doctor asked in surprise. No, but I know you're Alpha. No wonder he can do it so fast. It only took 10 minutes to finish the treatment, suturing, and bandaging. On the battlefield, time is life. How is Su Dongdong? After treatment, there's no problem with his life. However, the interrogation methods of the Holy War aren't something that just anyone can withstand. Those who haven't undergone any training might go crazy within an hour. Su Dongdong's situation was not very optimistic. The anesthetic will wear off in half an hour. We won't know what's going on until half an hour later. Su Dongdong was sent to the nursing ward. Wang Lan and the others were waiting in the ward. As time passed, Hu Qing took out her phone from time to time. She received a call every few minutes. The young doctor's deduction was very accurate. About 25 minutes later, Su Dongdong showed signs of waking up. Then a few nurses hurriedly resuscitated Su Dongdong professionally. Dongdong. Su Dongdong. Although Su Dongdong's eyes were open, they were empty. After about 10 minutes, Su Dongdong's eyes suddenly revealed fear, and his body trembled violently, as if he had been electrocuted. No, I don't know. I really don't know. I beg you. I don't know. Su Dongdong, we are doctors. You are safe now. Don't be afraid. I don't know. Don't ask me. I don't know, Dongdong. We are doctors. But no matter how the nurses comforted him, Su Dongdong's body still trembled violently. Fear seemed to spread throughout Su Dongdong's heart. Quick, calm down. The doctor quickly gave Su Dongdong a sedative to calm him down. I don't know. I really don't know. Peter, my Peter, save me. I'm so scared. Dad, Mom, where are you? Hubby, I'm going to die. Hubby, falling into complete fear. Su Dongdong's body was still trembling violently even after being injected with a sedative. Peter? Wang Lan's eyes flashed. Hu Qing, bring the golden retriever here. Okay. Hu Qing quickly dialed a number. Xiao Qi, bring the golden retriever here. The emergency department, the ward on the 3rd floor. Wang Lan, why did you bring the dog here? When I saved Su Dongdong, the golden retriever went outside the warehouse first. It barked at the warehouse. As the owner of the golden retriever, Su Dongdong must be able to tell that it was her own dog barking. When she was in despair, the golden retriever's barking was like a life potion into Su Dongdong's heart. That's why she unconsciously called out for Peter. If we bring the golden retriever here, it might be the key to opening Su Dongdong's heart. Soon, the golden retriever was brought over by Xiao Qi. The moment the golden retriever was brought into the ward, the first thing it saw was Su Dongdong trembling at the head of the bed. Even though Su Dongdong was wrapped up like a mummy, the golden retriever immediately recognized its owner. It jumped onto the bed and licked its owner's face. "Peter, my Peter." Su Dongdong hugged the golden retriever tightly and buried her face in its back. "Miss Su, we are the guards. Peter brought us to save you. You are safe now. I'm saved. Am I saved? Woo-woo. Why? Why are you guys so late?" Suddenly, Su Dongdong raised her head and let out a heart-wrenching cry. "My parents, they killed them. I don't know. My brother stole. How would I know? What are they looking for? I don't know. I've never seen an evolving potion." Evolving potion? Wang Lan's eyes narrowed and his heart skipped a beat. Su Shiren's expression changed drastically as well. He immediately looked into Wang Lan's eyes. Magical potion? It should be. Woof. The golden retriever lying on Su Dongdong's body suddenly barked and jumped off the bed. Woof. It barked at Wang Lan and walked out of the ward. "It wants me to follow it." Wang Lan immediately understood and quickly chased after the golden retriever. After the golden retriever left the ward, Wang Lan hurriedly chased after it. The golden retriever's motor nerves were a little too developed. As a Takashi Hoshi user, Wang Lan would never be able to keep up without Takashi Hoshi skills. The golden retriever rushed out of the hospital and ran along the city road. Outside the hospital, a few old men who were taking a walk felt a gust of wind pass by them. What was that just now? It looked like a dog? At the dog, whoosh. Wang Lan's figure rushed past them and chased after the golden retriever in the distance. "Is this how you walk a dog now? Luckily, I have a tortoise. If I walked a dog like this, my bones would definitely fall apart." As he spoke, he looked down at the palm-sized Brazilian tortoise under his feet. "Son of a tortoise, walk another 100 steps." The Brazilian tortoise looked up at the old man in despair. It simply turned over and lay on its back, pretending to be dead. The golden retriever's stamina was beyond Wang Lan's expectations. It sprinted at full speed and ran for 7 to 8 kilometers without stopping. Looking in the direction of the golden retriever, Wang Lan's eyes flashed. It was obviously going for Su Qingshan's house. Su Qingshan's family lived in the countryside while his daughter and son-in-law lived in the city. The distance was less than 10 kilometers. Woof woof! The isolation belt around Su Qingshan's house had not been removed yet. There were still many police officers searching for clues in Su Qingshan's house. Suddenly, there was a series of wild barks, and a golden stream of light rushed over from afar. Just as the guard was about to stop it, Wang Lan's figure appeared in front of the guard in an instant. "Wait!" The golden retriever walked into the yard and kept sniffing in a vegetable garden. After a while, it started digging quickly. Soon, a hole was dug out by the golden retriever. Woof woof! The golden retriever barked twice at Wang Lan. Wang Lan walked forward to take a look. There were a few bones hidden in the hole and a black cloth bag. Wang Lan hesitantly picked up the cloth bag. There was a clanging sound from inside. Wang Lan quickly reached in and took out 2 bottles of blue medicine. Seeing the medicine, Wang Lan understood everything. Why was Su Donghai killed? He stole the demonic medicine. But unexpectedly, the golden retriever stole it and hid it like a bone. Su Donghai's family naturally did not know what the dog stole, and no one would have thought that the thief would be a dog. Ding, ding, ding. Hello. Wang Lan picked up the phone and answered. "Wang Lan, I'm almost done with my questioning. It should be the demonic medicine without a doubt." The person who kidnapped Su Dongdong interrogated the whereabouts of the demonic medicine. The demonic medicine was stolen by Su Donghai. But the murderer said that Su Donghai stole the demonic medicine home, but it disappeared in the blink of an eye. He suspected that his family took it or something. Because of this, Su Qingshan and his wife were kidnapped. The murderer had already interrogated Su Qingshan and his wife before interrogating Su Dongdong, and Su Dongdong saw the video of her parents being brutally killed with her own eyes. Hu Qing has already asked his brothers to search the scene where Su Qingshan and his wife were killed. "I also found the demonic medicine here," Wang Lan said after listening. "Wait, you found the demonic medicine? How did you find it?" Su Shiryun suddenly exclaimed. The murderer had spent so much effort killing and interrogating, but still failed to find the item. Yet, Wang Lan had found it in less than half an hour? Yes, you definitely wouldn't have thought that it was this golden retriever who stole the demonic medicine. The golden retriever may have a little spiritual beast aptitude. He instinctively felt the power of the demonic medicine, so he stole it and buried it in the yard. When we asked about the medicine in the hospital, the golden retriever may have understood what we wanted, so he took me to Su Qingshan's yard and dug out the demonic medicine from the vegetable garden. There were 2 bottles in total. I'll go. The information provided by Wang Lan directly made Su Shiryun feel unreal. What is this? A murder caused by a dog? But in a flash, Su Shiryun's lowered voice came from the phone. What we need to figure out now is whether these 2 bottles of demonic medicine were produced before or after the pharmaceutical production workshop was destroyed. So now we need to know where Su Donghai stole the medicine from. Leave it to me, Su Shiryun said without thinking. Let's go together. I'll take a few days off. I can't miss this kind of case. Okay, as long as it was the whereabouts of the demon spies, it represented a huge amount of experience. What did Wang Lan lack the most now? It was experience. Chapter 187. After returning from Su Qingshan's house, Wang Lan met up with Su Shiryun very quickly. As for Su Dongdong's matter, he left it to the superintendent to handle. This was the second time Wang Lan saw the power of the Heavenly Sword Bureau's intelligence department. The first time was when they dealt with CSCC's trouble. In just an hour, they had investigated CSCC's matter thoroughly and executed her on the spot. She was almost cremated. This time, it only took half a day to investigate Su Donghai's activities in the past 6 months and who he had contacted. On the top floor of the Xingyu building, Wang Lan's printer was working quickly. Fax documents were printed out one by one. This was the information gathered from various intelligence stations in the intelligence department. Wang Lan and Su Shiryun only needed to filter out useful information from this information. Other than being a member of the Commoners' Genius Society, Su Donghai also took private jobs in private. No wonder he could have a B-level Takashi Hoshi skill and 3 C-level Takashi Hoshi skills with his family background. Quit the Commoners' Genius Society a week ago. Wang Lan sighed as he held the information in his hand. Did he leave the Commoners' Genius Society because he obtained the magic potion and climbed up to a higher branch? Or did he steal the potion from the Commoners' Genius Society? Wang Lan suspects your classmate. His name is Duan Ziqi? Yes, indeed. After all, the crime scene was at school. However, Su Donghai and Duan Ziqi were not students living on campus. Therefore, it might not be related to students if it happened at school. Moreover, it's almost confirmed that the ones who don't want you to participate in the provincial tournament are demons. The possibility of it being a student is not high. Look at this information. The boss of the underground casino in the ancient city, Brother Li, is known as the Vampire. This person opened an underground casino and gave out loan sharks, causing people to lose their family fortune. However, for some reason, the superintendent of the ancient city has never cleaned up this place. Not long after Su Donghai awakened as Takashi Hoshi, he followed Brother Li. However, he always wore a mask when he was working for Brother Li. Hence, he was called Ghost Face by the ancient city's underworld. Only a few of Brother Yuli's trusted aides knew that Grimace's real identity was Su Donghai. Wang Lan, do you still remember Crow? You suspect that Brother Li is like Crow? Very likely. I even suspect that this Brother Li is the same as Crow, a hidden Takashi Hoshi. More and more information was gathered. Su Donghai had contacted 3 places. The first was his family. However, Su Donghai's entire family had been silenced. Only his brother-in-law, who was on a business trip, had survived. It was unlikely that Su Donghai had obtained the demonized potion from his family. The second direction was the school or the Commoners' Genius Society. However, according to what Wang Lan knew, the Commoner Genius Society was only limited to schools. They would exchange their cultivation experiences together, have good methods or ideas, and verify them with each other. After school, they didn't interact much. In the words of the rich and powerful students, they were a group of cannon fodders who were howling in grief. The third direction was, of course, Brother Li's side. It was also the direction that Su Shiyun thought was most likely. After discussing with Wang Lan, they decided to gather information around Brother Li. They would take action tonight to eliminate all of Brother Li. Brother Li must have had some means of survival for being able to operate an underground casino in the old city area for so many years without being eliminated. In order not to alert the enemy, the Heavenly Sword Bureau would be the leader of the operation, and the superintendent would be the assistant. The Heavenly Sword Bureau would definitely be overkill to deal with an underworld gang. Night had just fallen, and the lights had just been lit. A few of the famous entertainment streets in the old city area were brightly lit. However, if someone were to look down at the old city area from the sky, they would realize that a building that was decorated like a palace was in the center. The few streets that spread out were all quietly surrounded by police cars. As the night grew darker, the streets were still being sealed off layer by layer. Gradually, some of the underground forces in the old city area noticed the abnormality that day. Is this Brother Li's territory? A middle-aged man who was missing 2 fingers stood on the balcony and took a deep puff of a cigar. What did Brother Li do recently to make the superintendent destroy the balance to deal with him? I didn't hear about it. Is it because of the debt before the new year? That can't be right. Brother Li has a sense of propriety. Those who are ruthless are usually profiteers. Hanjingju Palace, the top floor of the only 5-star hotel in the old city area. A girl in a black lace dress was playing with a feather fan in her hand. Sister Gio, you called for me? Inform the sisters that they're all off work tonight. Huh? Why? Didn't you see the big move from the top? Although it's targeted at Brother Li, it's hard to guarantee that innocent people will be harmed. Call the sisters who work in Brother Li's territory and tell them to retreat immediately. No matter what method you use, run if you can. At this moment, not only did the ladies want to run, but Brother Li's men also noticed that something was wrong. This time, it wasn't a surprise inspection or anything. Instead, it was an ambush from 10 sides without any warning. Starting from 3 streets away, they gradually closed in and sealed Brother Li's old nest like an iron wall. At this moment, Brother Li was deeply reflecting on what he had done in the past year. The old city area had 3 pillars that kept each other in check and balance. It was already the area with the best security in Sioux City in the past 2 years. Although it was shameless to attribute the good security to the underworld forces. But in Brother Li's words, as a gangster, as a boss, as long as he didn't take the initiative to cause trouble, it was enough to get a good citizen award. Where there was light, there was darkness, especially in a place like Sioux City where the entertainment industry was particularly developed. There was heaven above and Sioux City below. How did it come about? Just because the scenery was beautiful? Just because of the lake and mountain scenery? Then wasn't the starry sky on the prairie also very beautiful? Wasn't the scenery in Shuzhou also very magnificent? Why? Just because in Sioux City and Hang City, they could enjoy the happiness of heaven. More people who pursued enjoyment and had good taste even came to Sioux City from thousands of miles away to have a taste. And these places of debauchery had long been infiltrated by the underworld forces. Even if one was removed, there would still be a new one seeping in. Therefore, most of the people who were removed were dishonest and violated the bottom line of Sioux City. Brother Li had been dutiful for so many years. Even if he opened a casino and collected loan sharks, Brother Li didn't do anything to students, old people, or honest people. Brother Li cheated those profiteers or rich people who can't have fun. Brother Li thought about it, but couldn't figure out what he had done. Brother Li's bald head shone like a light bulb under the light. In front of him was a statue of Second Master, but in his hand were prayer beads. Brother Li looked calm and composed, but the 2 underlings behind him were so anxious that they were sweating profusely. Brother Li, you still want to do it? The guard will be here soon. Run. Yeah, I've already prepared the clothes for you. I even brought you a wig. When the time comes, the brothers will create chaos. You could take advantage of the chaos to rush out. As long as you're fine, The brothers will be fine. As long as we send you out, the brothers will still have hope. Yeah, brotherly, when the time comes, we brothers are still the most reliable. When you're in trouble, the brothers follow you closely. Where's Ghostface? Where's he now? If he's here, he can send you out with his ability. Who knows? Maybe today's incident was caused by Ghostface. Crack. With a blow, the prayer beads in Brother Lee's hand shattered and fell to the ground. Ghostface. Ghostface has something to do today, so he can't come. He asked for leave from me a few days ago. But now that you mention it, I think it's possible. As he spoke, he picked up his phone and dialed. When he heard that the number he dialed was not in the service area, Brother Lee's face suddenly became dark. Brother Lee, run. I can't run. With such a big battle, how can I not be fully prepared? You can all run, but I can't. If you want to run, all of you run. Clap, clap, clap. There was a round of applause. Su Shiryun and Wang Lan quietly rose from the ground slowly. When Brother Lee saw this scene, he took a deep breath. Takashi Hoshi? Is it necessary? Is it necessary for the Takashi Hoshi to punish me? Brother Lee, Ghostface works for you, right? Su Shiryun didn't like to be long-winded, so he immediately asked after he achieved the effect of intimidation. It's really him. Am I implicated because of him? I'll accept my death even if he wants me to. Brothers, can you please tell me how I was set up to die? He's in cahoots with the demons, and he happens to be your subordinate. Logically speaking, you're also in cahoots with the demons. Brother Lee glared and pointed at his head. Brother, you can't reason like that. Ghostface and I are in a cooperative relationship. Seventh Young Master recommended him to me. Rather than calling him my subordinate, it's better to call him Seventh Young Master Subordinate. Seventh Young Master? Which Seventh Young Master? Wang Lan's eyebrows twitched as he hurriedly asked. Seventh Young Master is called Duan Ziki. People call him Young Master Chi. After a long time, he became Seventh Young Master. Duan Ziki? Duan Ziki from Sioux City, Yizhong? Wang Lan glared and asked again. Yes, who doesn't dare to give Seventh Young Master face in the Ancient District? Seventh Young Master never interferes with the Ancient District's business, but according to the rules, we have to give 10% of our business to the orphanage every year. It's considered accumulating some good karma for us. If you're saying that Ghostface is in cahoots with the demons, then don't look for me. 10% every year? That's quite a lot. You're willing? Hee. I'm called Brother Lee, but in the Ancient District, the real brother is Seventh Young Master. We're just small fries at most. So you're saying that we found the wrong person? Wang Lan didn't doubt Brother Lee's words. He didn't know that Su Donghai and Brother Lee were arranged by Duan Ziki. If he had known, Wang Lan would have directly targeted Duan Ziki. In Wang Lan's opinion, Duan Ziki was much more suspicious than Brother Lee. Brother Lee's face immediately lit up when he heard Wang Lan's words. That's right. Didn't we find the wrong person? Brother, you can ask around in the underworld about who I Ali am. I hate traitors the most. It's all a misunderstanding. All a misunderstanding. Since it's a misunderstanding, Wang Lan turned to look at Su Shiryun. Let Hu Qing come and arrest them. Brother Lee was about to express his gratitude, but the words were stuck in his throat. What did he mean? Arrest them? Wasn't it a misunderstanding? Looking at Brother Lee's confused expression, Wang Lan smiled. Since we're already here, how can we go back empty-handed? It's not good to come here for nothing. I'll pay. Before Brother Lee could finish his words, Wang Lan grabbed Brother Lee's neck and a stream of astral power entered Brother Lee's body. Hot. Wang Lan let go of Brother Lee's neck. There's no astral power rejection. They're indeed ordinary people. Su Shiryun picked up his phone. Inspector Hu? Close the net and arrest them. That you're tuning into the Warrior Lore YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.